Hi everybody. Since Rex is out today, I have to do this commercial and it's making me really upset and see red. But it gave me an idea. We have Immortal Red Sonja number 4 and Betty Page, the Alien Agenda number 5, and they're the fiery red editions. So I thought these can make some great giveaways. So we're gonna have them as giveaways for our Monday show and our Wednesday show, but you gotta tune in to see which will be which on which date. Hope that makes sense. Hope to see you then. Bye.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. Welcome to Rockin Robbie Live. Returning after a 2-week hiatus, I went to Heroes Con, so they kind of interrupted us. So I guess you could say show interrupted. But however, we are back here tonight. Welcome, everybody. Station, pop, pop, boom. We got a great show planned for you tonight. We'll be talking about our favorite comic books from last week. We'll be looking ahead at what's coming up in shops this week, including the DC Sneak Peek. And it's probably going to be the shortest DC Sneak Peek that we've ever had on this show. So that's quite interesting. Then we're going to be talking about Thor, Love and Thunder. I'll be giving my non-spoiler review of Thor, Love and Thunder. No spoilers. It's going to let you know what I thought about it and some of the actors in it. Then we're going to be talking about Wildcats issue number 3 in our Image in the 90s segment. Then we are going to be talking about Someone's Watching Me, which was a TV movie that John Carpenter did. It's actually his 3rd film that was his 4th released. We'll get into all of that later. Top 5 movies of 2008, a little bit of show and tell, all of that and more in between. What is up? Feels like it's been forever. Super excited to be here and chat with y'all. So once you get in here, throw out a station, throw out a pop, pop, boom. Let us know that you are here in the room. And what do you want to chat about? Let's take a look who's already here. We got Mike06 in the house. I like those emojis. They remind me of Thor, Love and Thunder. Me and Mike went and watched it this afternoon. The artist formerly known as Jesse Say What is in the house, throwing a station to all the people all over the world. We got R. Ariaga in the house, Omar V, or Omar the Fifth. We got Billy Power Max in the house. And Taki, what is up, my man? He says, Power Max, come to my crib and watch Miss Marvel. Of course, you should join me and Taki along with the rest of our panel on Wednesday night when we cover the final episode of Miss Marvel, presumably Season 1. We got Nova69 in the house. We got Joram in the house. We got Hamburger Basket in the house. Eric the Stash D is in the house. James is in the house. What is up, Spilio? It's better to burn out than to fade away. What is up, my man? How is everybody doing tonight? It's been a grand old time. I will say this. You should follow Pop Culture Philosophers on Facebook and on Instagram. If you're on Facebook, join the PCP Army. It's the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group, and you can follow me on Twitter at the Rockin Robbie. You can check us out at popculturephilosophers.com for podcasts and more, and you can support the channel at patreon.com/PCP, like these fine PCP patrons are listed right there, or with a super chat. But all the support we need is you being here. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Watch these videos to the end and all that noise. So how is everybody doing? Join me tomorrow night when I'm on the show at the EXP. You saw the little promo for Amy. It's always a fun show. We do that every Monday night, 5 p.m. Central Time. By the way, if you're ever on dynamicforces.com, you want to purchase something, be sure to enter Robbie at your cart. You will receive 10% off. The Rockin Robbie tour has come through Charlotte, North Carolina. We talked about that last week on my Heroes Con haul and report video. But the next stop is Memphis Comic Con, and all super chats go to funding that leg of the Rockin Robbie tour. Tomorrow night, PCP Movie Night, 8 p.m. Central Time, we kick off Action Fest 2022 by reviewing all 4 Lethal Weapon movies. It's going to be a loaded panel for Lethal Weapon. It's going to be a great time. As the aforementioned Miss Marvel show on Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Central Time, we'll actually be talking about Episode 6. Manny has not given us the newest thumbnail, but imagine this with a different image of Miss Marvel, and it says Episode 6. And then Dylan's Horror Show on Saturday night, we talk about The Ninth Configuration, a movie I have never seen, so I'm excited to check that out. So how is everybody doing? What do you want to talk about? Get your questions, get your thoughts, your comments, and your concerns, because as well planned as this show may be, it is driven, fueled, if you will, by those questions, those thoughts, those comments, and your concerns. So as you get in your thoughts about what you want to talk about or your questions to kick off the show, we'll go into the first 5. First 5. Continuing to go through the Blu-ray collection, we last left off 2 weeks ago with Star Trek Season 2. This is Season 3, obviously. Got to have them all. So I have them all. This is my Star Trek original motion picture collection. This was the first time they were released on Blu-ray. They are individually cased, but we're just going to save some time and just count this as one. So that's all the movies with the Kirk crew. It's like the first 6. It's through Undiscovered Country, yes. Then we have Star Trek The Next Generation motion picture collection, which is Generations through Nemesis. So they're all listed right there on the side. The movies are cool sets. And like I said, these were from when they were first released on Blu-ray. I think they got newer sets now and all kinds of stuff. And then here is the Star Trek 3 movie collection. So this is Star Trek and Into Darkness and Star Trek Beyond, which, believe it or not, I still have not watched Star Trek Beyond. That being said, what are my favorite Star Trek movies? Star Trek the Motion Picture, Wrath of Khan, Search for Spock, Voyage Home, Undiscovered Country. I love those ones. I like Generations. If you notice, I skipped Final Frontier. I don't really like... I mean, that one's okay, I guess. Just because it's a Star Trek movie. Star Trek Generations is okay. First Contact's bad AFs. Insurrection's a really good long episode of Next Gen. And Nemesis, I don't really like. The reboot, I really like. Into Darkness, haven't seen Star Trek Beyond. But moving away from Star Trek, we got Starman. This is going to be covered one day, presumably soon, on our John Carpenter movie review watch-through. However you want to do that. And that has been our first 5. I do love doing the first 5 and the final 5, inheriting that from the Comics with Bueller Coffee show. Love it. So let's go up into the chat, see what everybody's saying. William says, heard a rumor that Jim Lee is talking to Marvel. Would you be interested in Jim Lee going over to Marvel? What capacity would it be? Is he about to leave or resign or be forced out of his role at DC as publisher? Is that going to happen? It feels like that is on the horizon at some point. In some form or fashion, he's probably going to exit that executive role at DC, it seems. What does he do? A big landmark project at Marvel would be really good for them. Would it be good for Jim? Would it be good for us? Would he do would he return to the X-Men? Would he do a miniseries? What would you like to see? If Jim Lee, first of all, would you like to see Jim Lee come back to Marvel and in what capacity. And if you want to see him drawing a book, which I think most people would, what do you want to see him do? Something he's never done before? Something he has, something familiar, something with an X in it. Me personally, I don't know. Jim Lee seems, I'd like to see more work from Jim Lee, obviously. If he went back to Marvel, I wouldn't be against it. I would like to see Jim Lee do something with, like, I don't know. I guess I would like to see him go back to the X-Men. I love his Wolverine, so anything involving Wolverine would work for me. What about y'all? Hey, Hammer Time Holshoe's in the house. Me and Hammer Time Holshoe are going to be in Atlanta this upcoming Friday to see Scandal. Very excited to hang out with my homie. It's been a while. What is a super chat? Like a regular chat, but it took Compound V. Yes, absolutely. Bloody soups. Joram says, Rockin Robbie, all love. Join that Facebook group. Hell yeah, thank you. I approved your I got a message. I was like, Joram's finally becoming one of... No, I'm just kidding. No, thank you, man. We appreciate it. We have fun in that group. I need to be a little bit more active in it. What's up, Jacob? Station, y'all went to see Top Gun on Friday. I still have not seen Top Gun. Let me know what you think about it, because I heard a lot of good things about it. CTA is in the house. What is up, CTA Frank? What's up, Circumstances, my man? James says, I'm too old for this shit. Hell yeah. Man, Lethal Weapon's a great film franchise. I cannot wait to talk about it tomorrow night. We get a loaded panel. On schedule is me, Jelani, and Brooks, as usual. But we are also graced with the presence of John Hammertime Holshoe, Mark from Geeks Unleashed, and Verno from The Cerebros. Circumstances says, Picard is my captain. He's definitely one of my favorite captains, too. I like to also mention Cisco, but Star Trek in general. But Next Gen and DS9, that's my jam in particular. What's up, Atari? What's up, Comic Book Therapy? We got Two Gun in the house. What is up? Pew pew. Spelio says, Kirk is my captain, but Picard is a close second. Jacob says, anyone else's blood start pumping for Rom V's detective after reading Chip's first Batman issue? I'll tell you this real quick, Jacob. I have read Rom's first issue of Detective Comics, and I flippin' loved it. I adored it. I thought it was amazing. The artwork was great. It's got this kind of dark approach to it. The artwork is dark, but it's got texture, and it's got some excitement to it. The use of language is fantastic. It's something we're used to with Rom V, but I think that a lot of people that are fans of Rom V are really going to like this Detective Comics run. That being said, I've also read the first issue of the new Azrael book by Dan Waters, and I really liked it story-wise and all that stuff. The artwork I thought was okay. The artwork was decent, and it got the job done, and it even tried to go a little bit further at times, but it kind of held it back just a little bit, but the story was so good, and I love Dan Waters on that character of Jean-Paul Valley. I have also read the second issue of Chip Zdarsky's Batman, and the second issue of Chip Zdarsky's Batman is way better than his first issue. And I liked his first issue. In fact, I liked it quite a lot. But the second issue is one of the most exciting, exhilarating superhero DC comics I've read, at least in a few months. But in a while, I'll tell you that. So my blood is pumping. Those are really good books. I would highly recommend them. Glad to see both main Batman books in good hands right now. Circumstances says, Jim Lee back on X-Men. Boom, right? Like, that would be a pop, boom for the ages. Let's just say that and get that out of the way. William says, Jim Lee can take over for Quesada and still do covers and maybe draw ASM. Do you think that Marvel would bring in Jim Lee in an executive role? I don't think so. Triple X the comic? Yeah, that's what Jim Lee should do, Hammer Time. Jim Lee should save X-Men. He'd need a writer to go along with him. Which writer would go along with Jim Lee to save the X-Men? Do you know what's going on with Radio Apocalypse? Just that it's taking a long fucking time. That's all I know. It's taking a long fucking time. But we'll see. Jacob says, Top Gun was pretty corny, but the cockpit and dogfight scenes was worth the price of admission. William says Scandal, the 1989 film, and Hammer Time Holshoe says Scandal, the Japanese rock band. Yeah, the Lethal Weapon references are always on point, aren't they? John is schooling everybody on Scandal. I'm excited. I'm not really... I mean, John sent me some songs and stuff, and I've listened to them here and there, but I just want to go and just goddamn experience it, you know? Just experience it. Pumped for Batman, hell yeah. I haven't read Chip's first issue of Daredevil yet. Marvel does do early looks for retailers, but not quite like DC does. DC is... I'll tell you this, on the retailer side, DC is getting behind their product. They offer a lot of returnability, and they offer a lot of early looks. So before I order something, I can actually read it and kind of judge what I think people will like based on that. So I like that. Marvel, less so. Way less so. Would Wildcats move with him? No. DC Comics now 100% owns all of those Wildstorm characters, as far as I'm aware. What country is the villain in the new Top Gun movie, Mike? You know I haven't seen that movie, so I don't know, but I have heard that they just don't name the country. I think they did that. A lot of people are claiming that they're doing that to, like, not to step on any toes. I don't think that's necessarily the case, except for to make it timeless. Like, sometimes movies can be dated, but it's nice, like... When you watch certain films, I like certain dated historical references. Like when you're talking about things like, say, Rambo 3 or any of those movies made during the Cold War, right, and shit like that. So that's cool, but I think maybe either they didn't want to offend anybody and make more money, so then greed, they just want to make more money, or they wanted the movie to be more timeless and have a longer shelf life, so therefore more money. And I think John's on the money. I haven't seen it, but I've heard the fan theories that it's Canada. What's up, Loeat? How you doing? John's goal tonight in the chat is to introduce at least one person to the amazing rock band that is Scandal. So if anybody, if everybody could go check out some Scandal, that would really make John very happy. It'd make him very incredibly happy. All right, we haven't talked since this. What do y'all think about Dan Slott coming back to do a new Spider-Man book? I get to be a little bit more relaxed here on Rockin Robbie Live, so I'm just going to tell you this. I don't know who at Marvel thought that putting Dan Slott on Spider-Man... Okay, I get it. Okay, I think here's what I think happened. Dan Slott makes money for Marvel on Spider-Man, and he's got some good runs on Spider-Man. Like I said on the weekly pop culture wrap-up, I really like Superior Spider-Man, and I really like the worldwide bit. I don't really like any of the shit involving the Spider-Verse. I think the Spider-Verse is a cool enough concept, and I like Spider-Man, but not enough to like want to see like 800 different versions of the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But I digress. The Into the Spider-Verse movie was really fucking dope, okay? And I like the character of like Miles, and I like Gwen as Spider-Gwen. I think that's a dope look. So I'm not against the idea of the Spider-Verse. I just didn't really like it in the comics. Every time they've kind of done that. I didn't like his Spider Island. There was like a big sections of his runs that I didn't like, but I thought Superior Spider-Man was solid in the worldwide era when Peter came back and he had this grand life that Octavius basically just left him, right? He had this company, and a lot of people compared it and said that it was like ripping off Iron Man's story and shit, but I actually liked it because it's all temporary. So I thought that was a really cool, like Peter finally gets it and he still fucks it up, right? Because that's inherent to the character. That being said, I think they moved him to Iron Man. They didn't do much there at all. Moved him to Fantastic Four, a big pop and then a big drop and then a slow, steady, average leveling off, where people were sticking with the title because they're like me and they're diehard lifetime Fantastic Four fans, or they were actually starting to be like, this story's kind of cool. Now we know that the end is in sight. So overall, now we can kind of, we'll see what he does in his last couple issues here. But overall, it's just going to be one of those okay, average, forgettable runs of Fantastic Four, honestly, right? It'll be the one where we're like, okay, so Ben married Alicia. That's like the biggest contribution there. But it's had some cool moments. It's had some dull moments. But overall, I think it's been a solid enough run. And I'm excited to get a fresh voice on Fantastic Four. So then they're like, okay, Dan Slott sold well on Spider-Man, like most people do, right? Amazing Spider-Man is consistently a top seller for Marvel. For right reasons. Same as Batman on DC. They don't need to take the lesson that DC took with Batman right now, though, and pump out like 80 fucking Spider-Man books, but you just wait and see what's about to be happening here. It's already kind of started. So anyway, that being said, they don't know what else to do with Dan Slott. He can't bump sales on another book. He hasn't been able to prove that he's been able to do that over the last several years on Iron Man and on Fantastic Four. So what do you do with him? You move him to another book. Well, Thor's taken, Hulk's taken, Donnie's doing good numbers over there. So there's no threat there. Avengers needs to wrap up by Jason Aaron, but it seems like they're committed to his long-term plan, and who knows how much longer that's going to run. They need something for him now. Fuck it, create another Spider-Man book. We'll get his sales up. We'll get him. We can have faith in the editor and the writer again. And I'm not saying it's going to be bad. It is dealing with the Spider-Verse to end all Spider-Verses. Obviously, being Spider-Verse not being one of my favorite parts of Dan Slott's Spider-Man run. I'm not excited about that. I'm not excited about another Spider-Man book. I think just we really need to focus in on Amazing Spider-Man and get that to be worthy of being a flagship title. I think the book is just a bit too inconsistent right now. It has ups and downs in story and in art and pacing and flow. So, like you have an issue like issue 4, which was really good, very strong, and then a very rushed issue 5. And we'll see how they pay off this whole Mary Jane thing. And the art is inconsistent too. I saw, if you look in the newest issue, it's easy to say that John Romita Jr. sucks, but I don't think that John Romita Jr. sucks. John Romita Jr. is one of my favorite superhero comic book artists at Marvel, period. Like, I love that dude's artwork. And having met the guy now, he's super cool. Super fucking cool. I've seen him in person. Like, at the con table and outside of the con table. He's a really cool dude. Got a lot of earrings. Dude's got like 8 earrings or something on his fucking ear. It's weird. Anyway, very much more small than I thought he'd be. Smaller than me. It's weird. Anyway, I don't know why I'm talking about that. Just name dropping. You know what I'm saying? Just name dropping. Just sitting here drinking beer, talking to y'all, name dropping. That's what we're doing. But you can tell what he wants to draw in that one because that feels like a rushed deadline job, right? And it is rushed and dashed out. And I don't think this entire time, I don't want to blame the inking. I've seen Scott Hanna on him. That's fine. I would love a more textured line to finish John Romita's stuff. But that being said, I don't think the coloring is doing much good for him. If you look at his work on Kick-Ass, the first Kick-Ass in particular, he was able to, there was something going on there. The coloring was able to really, was that Richard Eisenhoff? I think, I don't know. But the coloring in Kick-Ass really helped mold his lines and his shapes, I should say. And that's not being done. That being said, you can tell that he really is putting effort into what he likes to draw. That's Black Cat. Look at Black Cat in that newest issue. Everything else looks really quick, dashed out. But Black Cat, there's a little bit more sophistication there. Anyway. Ramble over. What have y'all said? Loit says, Spider Island was decent. Oh, to wrap it all up, not very excited for Dan Slott to come in to launch a new Spider-Man book. They need to focus in on Amazing Spider-Man. They need to find somewhere else to put Dan Slott. And if you ain't got room, look, Marvel is screwed. Put him on the next book, right? I don't know. Put him on the next book, then I'm not going to read. That'll be fine. I don't think Dan Slott's a terrible writer, though. I think he's an average writer. Did you see the Slott episode of the Marvel Method documentary on Disney Plus? It was hilarious. I did not, but I've heard about it. I saw some videos about it. I think Perch did a video where he was like, why are we laughing at being late, not making deadlines? That's unprofessional. In comics, it gets laughed at, it seems. People dropped FF when he took away Franklin being a mutant. Some people did, but the book has actually been gaining some steam critically and from people reading it. All the lead-in to this, what's he doing? The Reckoning War. Reckoning War is good, but it is a bit overstuffed. but the lead into it was actually really good. The space in between Empire and into Reckoning War, that stuff was starting to solidify. And I mean, his run's coming to an end, and I'm not necessarily sad about it. I'm looking forward to fresh blood. The next writer we're getting is David Pepose. Seems like he's leading the team through the Avengers, X-Men, Eternals thing that I guess we're just all going to be forced to call fucking Axe. So he's leading the team through the Axe tie-ins, but we don't know who's going to take over after that. I saw somebody in the chat said Jed McKay. Taki said Jed McKay for FF. That could work. We need to see how we could do a team, because Black Cat has a team, but it's definitely still more of a solo book. I don't know if Pepose is a good long-term fit. I mean, I wouldn't be upset if David Pepose wrote it for a while, but I would like to see someone come in that's going to make, like there's just the announcement would knock me off my sock. I guess I'm only wearing one sock. But I didn't like the idea that Franklin's not a mutant anymore. That was a cop-out to me. I think a lot of times writers, they don't know how, they don't want to, it's not that they don't know how, probably, but mostly they just don't want to deal with Franklin with these god powers, and so they just kind of write it out. Jacob says, Dan Slott on Spider-Man is the same thing as Tom Cruise on Mission Impossible. We'll see. The thing is, a new Spider-Man #1 is going to pop no matter what, right? That's just the way it goes. A new ongoing Spider-Man title will pop at first. I keep saying pop. I was talking about the Thor Love and Thunder stuff and about how we need a bigger pop. And so now that's just stuck in my fucking head. Yeah, the Superior Spider-Man stuff is out of print in collections right now. Oh, and his run on Silver Surfer, I hear, was, Mike says it was dope as fuck. I read a little bit of it, but I stopped. But I think I'm planning on they're reprinting the Omnibus, or maybe it's out for the first time, but I think I might be getting that. I got a lot of omnibuses that I want to get, like a lot of omnis, like the new Question one sitting up in my box. I need to get that one. By the way, if you want to throw out a super chat, it helps support the Rockin Robbie live tour and takes a burden off of me, and allows me maybe to make that Question purchase. Well, he says, love Jed McKay. Met him at Toronto Comic Con this year. Spoke to him for 30 minutes. Moon Knight is the best thing from Marvel. Moon Knight is a pretty solid book. His work on Black Cat's really good too. Dan Slots reminds me of Borak's right-hand man. Scarpad's in the house and critical as always, as we all are. He says, DC needs to rein in Batman and Marvel, the same for Spidey too. Dissolution of the brand. Well, they're just doubling down on what's selling, bruh. That's all. It's business. They don't give a shit. Don't start hating on Axe. I'm not. I will read it before I start hating it. But I mean, I'm going to go into it, but everything leading into Avengers, X-Men, Eternals, I'm not digging. So this is an event that I really have a low expectation. How is the Jeff Lemire question book? The Jeff Lemire question book is actually pretty good. I liked it. I liked it a lot. And it's a good, spiritual follow-up, one could say, to the original run with Denny O'Neil and Dennis Cowan, Bill Sienkiewicz. No Thor Love and Thunder spoilers tonight, but I will be doing my non-spoiler review of it. Proposed on Savage Avengers as well. Yes, but with the Conan thing leaving Marvel, but they're still allowed to use them for just a little bit or something. We'll see how long that's going to run. But I think that sales were strong for the first issue of Savage Avengers, so that's going to make David look good to the Marvel editors, and they've obviously given him some more work, and so I think we're going to see David continue to have work over at Marvel. And Fantastic Four is a book coming up that needs a long-term writer, but right now I don't think they're going to give it to him, but we'll see. I think they're setting something up. Dark Crisis is doing decent as compared to Avengers, Eternals, X-Men. Dark Crisis sales are really strong, but they are returnable. Like every issue of Dark Crisis has been returnable so far, but I have read the 3rd issue of Dark Crisis, really like it. It's a crisis with a different kind of impact. It's much more of a story about character and legacy than it is about the big ideas, but the big ideas are still there. Oh, thank you so much, Scarpad, with Super Chat. I love the question. Get that Omni. Hell yeah. It's beautiful, too. It is beautiful. By the way, it's out right now. If anybody never read that question series by Dennis Cohen, definitely check that out because it's fresh. Thank you so much, Scarpad. Really do appreciate the Scarpad. What? Really do appreciate the Scarpad Super Chat. Thank you so much. Bandits0305 says, speaking of Jeff Lemire, where is the rest of Swamp Thing Green Hell? I don't know. Now, I know that the Prestige Plus books are more delayed because that's a more deluxe format, and I know that they've been having problems at the printers. That isn't a bullshit excuse. Like, that's a real thing. It's hitting all of publishing, but in particular, it's hitting all of the comic book publishers, right? That being said, other Prestige Plus books have gone and have come out. Like, I don't know where the fuck Swamp Thing Green Hell is. But here's the problem. When it comes out, are people still going to care? Timeliness is important. It is very important. Spilio says, Dark Crisis is awesome. I'm loving it. Hell yeah. All right, it's time to look back. How far back in time to last week? It's time to talk about, out of every comic book that came out last week, out of everything that you read, what was your favorite? In fact, what was your pick of the week? My pick of the week was The Closet. Just imagine that I have an issue of The Closet issue number 2. I have a copy of it in my hand. I'm not buying The Closet, and I've already taken it back. I forgot that I need to hold that back for Rockin Robbie Live so I can show you the artwork, because I wish I could, because that's my typical bit here. However, we don't have it available tonight. But it was The Closet number 2. Let me tell you something. I thought that last week, every book, for the most part, was okay. There were some books that I liked less. Some books I thought were pretty strong, but overall, nothing stood out. Nothing wowed me. Whoa. So I started thinking about it. I'm letting you know my thinking process here. I started thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? Some of these books have great artwork, but the story's not as strong. Maybe referencing Starhenge. Starhenge, or did Twig come out last week? If Twig came out last week, one of those. But Starhenge, Liam Sharp. Loved the artwork in that book. Love the presentation of it, the design, everything about that book popped so well. Pop, there's that fucking word again. Pop, pop, boom. All over the room. Anyway, the story, though, just to me read like some kind of space D&D manual, right? So it just kind of like gave you facts, and it didn't like excite me with the narrative. It gave me a bunch of information that went along with this beautiful artwork. Felt more like a guidebook. That being said, that artwork was great. So then started thinking there were some things that had a great story, but not so great artwork, right? Oh, another thing that had great artwork, and like let's talk about Batman real quick. Batman by Chip Zdarsky. The artwork by Jorge Jimenez was amazing. There are some decisions that Chip makes in the story that I thought were kind of whack, to be honest with you. So it kind of diluted that for being the pick of the week, right? And then there were books that had really strong stories, but the artwork was just kind of okay and serviceable, or the story was okay. And like, for instance, that Patrick Todd book, like it's a really cool, solid book, but the artwork didn't do anything like whatever, right? Then I started thinking the only thing for me that had the perfect junction, there's your function, of art and story was The Closet. Like I really liked the book. I really like that it's doing this subtle but still direct metaphor about like the breaking apart of a family and how that affects a child. That's what the story's about. This father who cannot take responsibility for being a father, cannot take responsibility for anything. His marriage is falling apart and he's grasping at straws to keep it together. His son is picking up on this shit. Now his son's got a monster in the closet that's following him around. The door has stars and moons and shit on it. The monster kind of looks alienish. So I'm not going to be surprised if they go into an alien ultra-terrestrial type way. And I know it's been a long time since we had one of them nights. But I promise you, we're going to have one of them soon. Anyway, that being said, I liked The Closet. I liked it a lot. I think that the artwork was moody and atmospheric. I think the story progressed. I think it was able to settle. This is a 3-act story, 3 issues. And so I really like this. It's going to be an emotional story. It's not going to be like something kinetic and charged and just knock you off your ass. But it is something that I think feels real and grounded and slightly fantastical. And I hope that it does take an alien turn. So I want to know right now, what was your favorite comic book that came out last week? What did you think about The Closet issue number 2? And what was your pick of the week? Taylor says, you could have started the series with Closet number 2. Number 1 wasn't necessary. I don't know. Seeing how it wraps up, I would slightly disagree just because I think that's Act 1. This is Act 2. And then we got Act 3 coming up. And I imagine it like a really cool episode of like an anthology TV show. And so, I don't know. But I get what you're saying. Dominic says, pick of the week was Firepower 22 and Mind Management. Both of those dope-ass fucking books, by the way. Those are really good books. Mind Management was a contender as well. So was Firepower as usual. Taki says, pick of the week was Firepower. When the dragon was hit by the blimp, pop, pop, boom, all up in that room. You know it. Spilio says, Starhenge was great, but I have no idea what I read. Ariaga says, Batman 125 was my pick of the week. Zdarsky and Jimenez was just what we needed. I'm really excited to see what Ram V will do in Detective. Sinner says, I need to see if I can get that Starhenge at the comic shop. Sinner says, what about that new Punisher issue? He finally turned on the hand. There was no new Punisher issue. What are we talking about here? Joe says, Dark Crisis and Spawn. Hamburger Basket says, still reading Monsters by Barry Windsor Smith. Holy cow, pick it up if you have not. I have not. That is definitely something on the list. Bandit says, Starhenge. Dominic says, Closet was okay. I kind of hate the dad and hope the closet monster eats him. Oh, it's coming out this week. Okay, I got you. What was y'all's favorite pick? What was y'all's favorite book of last week? And we got Mike here with a super chat. Thank you so much. Here is the contribution towards the question omnibus, Rob. I have mine in order. Can't wait. Love the question. That is an awesome run. Yes, it is. And thank you so much for the support of the channel. Hey, yo. Let me tell you about this little man I know. His name is Onslaught. Walking down the road, don't you know that he is the amalgam of two egos? We got a little bit of Professor X. He's got that, all of that rage and driven inside of his soul. He's got that hatred that he won't let out of his control. Oh, then you've got a dash of Magneto, master of magnetism. Everybody, I want to tell you, don't you know that Onslaught was so dope, it's so dope. But every time I go back and wish that I wrote what I wanna see. I know this makes no sense to you, it makes no sense to me, but Onslaught means something to me. Well, that's proof that they're not all winners. There you go. Thank you so much for the super chat. We really do appreciate the support. We got Bobby De La Ghetto in the house. Jacob saying Strange Academy, Emily brought evil twist. Yeah, the Emily brought evil twist. Next men are about to go crazy. I thought it felt a bit rushed, but I still did like it. Taylor says Little Monsters number 5 series finally picked up a bit, and it was a solid issue. I agree. Solid issue. You're right, Hamburger Basket. Gavin Fullerton was the artist on the closet, and Chris O'Halloran is the colorist. The colorist of Ice Cream Man. Look at the differences in the palette and the atmosphere and the mood. Both kind of horror stories, so that's cool. Joram says, got my question omnibus last week. The collection was long overdue. I agree. Jacob says, Closet number 2 was his second. Dead Bear Dad, always passing the blame. Deadbeat Dad. Dead Bear Dad? Deadbeat Dad, always passing the blame, and Little Alien Monster Creeping. And then Spawn 331 with the COG origin was long awaited. Flashpoint Beyond, like how John's is connecting to Dark Crisis. Me too, because it's in hyper time. It's kind of out of that. I kind of like that explanation. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I think it's pretty good. Yeah, Flashpoint Beyond was good too. You're right, Taki. You're right. All right, let's take a look at what's coming up in shops this week. And as we go through the list, start thinking, what are you most excited to check out this week? We got Moon Knight number 13, Wonder Woman 789, Wolverine 23, Daredevil number 1, a new one from Chip Zdarsky, Fantastic Four 45, New Mutants 27, Superman Son of Kal-El 13, Immortal X-Men number 4, Punisher number 4, Batman Urban Legends 17, Star Wars The Mandalorian number 1, King Spawn number 12, loving that book, Batgirls number 8, Marauders number 4, Captain Marvel 39, nice, The X-Men Hellfire Gala, nice, Star Wars Bounty Hunters 25, Avengers X-Men Eternals Axe Eve of Judgment number 1, Dark Crisis Worlds Without a Justice League Superman number 1, Spider-Punk number 3, I Am Batman number 11, Undiscovered Country 19, Spider-Man 2099, Exodus number 4, Future State Gotham number 15, Savage Avengers number 3, Rogues number 3, Captain Carter number 4, 8 Billion Genies number 3, Fortnite, Marvel, Zero War number 2, Power Rangers number 21, Slumber number 5, A Town Called Terror number 4, Naomi Season 2 number 5, Wonder Woman Evolution number 8, Ordinary Gods number 7, Norse Mythology Volume 3 number 6, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Armageddon Game opening moves number 1, G.I. Joe A Real American Hero 295, Barbaric The Harvest Blades number 1, that's right, Barbaric finally returns, Frank Frazzetta's Death Dealer number 3, Dogs of London number 3, West of Sundown number 4, Dune The Waters of Canley number 3, Immortal Red Sonja number 4, New Masters number 5, The British Paranormal Society Time Out of Mind number 3, Impact Winter number 1 by Stephen Green. We were talking about that a little bit with him at HeroesCon. Above Snakes number 1, that's from Sean Lewis, Hayden Sherman. We talked a lot about that on our conversation with Sean Lewis, who's also the writer of King Spawn, so he's got a big week this week. I have read Above Snakes number 1, and it's awesome. Pick of the week contender. And definitely the one I'm most looking forward to, that and the return of Barbaric. But we also have New Think number 2, Quests Aside number 3, Vampirella Strikes number 3, Tales from Harrow County Lost Ones number 3, The Killlock, The Artisan Wraith number 5, Belit and Valeria Swords vs. Sorcery number 3, Loaded Bible Blood of My Blood number 5, Bill and Ted Roll the Dice number 2, Archer and Armstrong Forever number 3, The Army of Darkness vs. Reanimator, Necronomicon Rising number 1, Cities of Magic number 3, Betty Page The Alien Agenda number 5, Behemoth number 1, Lady Death Sacrificial Annihilation number 2, Flavor Girls number 1, that's from Boom, Beyond the Beyond number 3, The Illusion Witch, 7174 Presents number 1, Distorted number 5, Mullet Cop Flavor of Danger, number 1. Potions Inc., number 2. Transformers Best of the Beast, number 1. Hawk the Slayer, number 4. We're going to call it at that. What are you most looking forward to? Like I said, above Snakes and Barbaric. What are you most looking forward to? Let us know. We'll continue that conversation when we get back here tonight from or on Rockin Robbie Live. We're taking a quick break. We'll be right back, y'all. Don't go nowhere.
Cruising in my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, ha, not fucking likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running shit right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into gains. I'm the boss, I'm making change. I've been rocking this exchange, popping off and risking things. Gonna make a fucking name. I just wanna be famous, but I don't want that cheap fame. No, I'm not that vain. I just wanna be greatness. 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 Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking bite me. Okay, I'm going off every chance I get. I don't really take a loss, well, I'll admit. That's why I'll make it to the top, yeah, I commit. And no, I'm never getting lost, I get after it. Investing in my own stock, cause it's faster than any crypto hits go, let me spend. Everything that you see is something I invent, and it's only a percent. I'm gonna take shots, if I miss all, forget it. I'll take a fat loss just to learn all that's in it. I'm taking snapshots, learning how to fall and get it. I'm getting back up, always stand tall, don't sweat it. I never back up, I don't miss a thing or regret it. I'm always learning, you could call me academic. I'm always working, never been apathetic. Bad energy is like a poison, needs some antiseptic. Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking fight me. Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking bite me. Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Pop Culture Philosophers. In fact, welcome back to Rockin Robbie Live here on a Sunday night, July 10th, 2022 to be exact. We've had a grand old time already tonight talking about our favorite comic books of last week, looking ahead at what's coming up in shops this week. When we last left you, I asked everybody, what are you most looking forward to coming up in shops this week? We have some responses. Let's get to them real quick. Da-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum. Evil Face Bad is in the house. What is up? Bobby De La Ghetto is looking forward to Fantastic Four 45. Sinner says that Daredevil looks great, going to have to pick up an extra copy. He's got a beard now. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. What's up, Jeff? Jeff is in the house. One love from Chicago. Hell yeah. Excuse me. Bayman had Dark Crisis for the pick of the week. Hell yeah. The Wee Good, though. The Wee Good and whiskey and the Coke on the way. Okay. A little TMI, but hell yeah, party hard, bro. Watch out for coca ethanol, though. Taki is like TMT Armageddon is what he's looking forward to. I'm way behind on the Turtles books. Like, super behind. Like, I last read them 100 issues ago, so. Yeah, I need to get caught up on that. Hamburger Basket says, Javi Fernandez on the art on Kingspawn is amazing. Really like Kingspawn number 10. The black, white, and red issue highlights Fernandez pencils. Yes, we had the chat with Sean Lewis, friend of the show. And we asked him about that. I asked him because Brian didn't read any Spawn books. But I think now he's been coerced into reading Kingspawn because Sean sold it so well. And so did I. I mean, I'm loving Kingspawn. But I asked him if that was his idea or if it was Javi's idea or Todd's idea, and he said it was all Javi Fernandez's idea to do that. So that was dope. Bobby's excited for Bill and Ted Roll Them Bones, man. Yeah, dude, I actually really liked that first issue. So Station, hell yeah, man, hell yeah. Evil Face Bad says, need to see those Freddy Kruegers behind you real quick, sir. Please, they so hot. Okay. Well, here is the Funko Savage World. So it's done in the style of Masters of the Universe. One day in the other studio, which we haven't gone back to in months and months and months, I'm filling it all up with books, less room for toys. But I'm going to, anyway, when I do my big Motu display, I'm going to have these on there. So there's Freddy Krueger if he was a Motu character. This is a little puppet Freddy, or a little tiny, little dude Freddy from Dream Warriors. So that's on there. I'm all Freddy'd out. Here is the NECA for Freddy, based on the first movie. It's really dope figure. Really dope. Over here, we have the NECA figure for Dream Warriors Freddy. And that's the box for Dream Warriors Freddy, because I think my favorite poster art for a Freddy movie is Dream Warriors. And then right here is the Freddy Funko Pop. So there are my Freddy figures. Then I had set up on Snake Mountain. It's the Freddyverse, the Freddy multiverse, right? So there you go, Evil Face Bad. Thank you for noticing. I love it when people notice the stuff I put in my background. Because they do it on purpose. Is Barbaric worth reading? I got Decorum hardcover. Decorum's awesome, but yes, Barbaric is definitely worth reading. You definitely got to get that out. It is available in a hardcover as well. Spilio says, looking forward to Punisher, but you knew that already. You know I did, bruh. That's your favorite. That's one you do every week. Where did you get your list? I type in new this week. I go, I think is it Legion of Geeks or some shit? I don't know. I just use them. Sometimes they're wrong. And there is no order to it. I don't know. I used to go to Previews World, and then they stopped being accurate. I get my accurate list tomorrow when I go into work. See, I don't go into work on Sundays. I don't do anything related to the day job on Sundays pretty much. And Sundays is all spent preparing for this show, which is one of my favorite things to do every fucking week is Rockin Robbie Live. So I fucking love it, y'all. When I'm away for a couple weeks, it's always for a good reason. Made some good connections in Heroes Con. Got to meet some fans of the show, some friends of the show. Got to have some beers with some friends of the show. And a fantastic time. God, good food, good drink, good company. If you didn't check out my haul and report from last week, definitely do so. But I'm assuming most of y'all did. It performed better than your typical Rockin' Robbie Live. So maybe I just need to go to a con every week and then do a haul and report video. But Barbaric is fucking awesome. Yeah, this is a one shot, and then the next mini series starts in a few months. Nova69 says, looking forward to Barbaric. I think the series starts up again in August. Mike says, looking forward to more Barbaric. The first mini was way good. Absolutely. Evil Face Bad says, Barbaric was okay. Nothing to write home about. It's no Conan. Fair enough. Fair enough. We Will Rock You. See, I have some Freddie Mercury on there. Yeah, you know it. Dominic's most looking forward to Impact Winter. So Above Snakes and TMNT Armageddon. I just lost my place here. Where are we going? The first song Robbie got on right now makes me feel like going out and beating up my second grade bully. Yeah, that song's called Bite Me by Nefex. So you can check that out online. Evil Face Bad's waiting on that Turtles for life. Jorm's looking forward to A Town Called Terror, TMNT Armageddon, Immortal Red Sonja, Daredevil, and Betty Page. Daredevil and King Spawn for Joe. Probably Punisher and King Spawn and Daredevil, says Hamburger Basket. The list is in the order of most pulled by shops. Interesting. Jacob says, Above Snakes, Punisher, and King Spawn, and shouts out the Rockin Robbie interview. Hell yeah. Well, thank you, Jonathan. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Evil Face Bad says, I'm just now finishing up the story with Hellboy and Thor's hammer. It's fantastic. Sexy Freddy, hell yeah. Every town has an Elm Street. We do. We have an Elm Street on this. Or is it? Actually, maybe it might be like an Elm Avenue or an Elm Boulevard or something. But I used to live in the neighborhood that had an Elm. So I used to always be like, that's an Elm Street. So like, that was a special time in my life. We're talking about when I lived there, we're talking about like second to like fifth grade. Like second to fifth grade. And that's like formative years watching VHS rentals of horror movies, having an Elm Street within walking distance, becoming obsessed with the Universal monster movies and all that kind of stuff. Hell yeah. Reverse Amoeba's looking forward to Barbaric, King Spawn, and Above Snakes. Need a Mego Freddy. The only Mego I have, actually I do have some old school Megos, but I haven't pulled those out in a while. But I have like the repro of an Aquaman. That's all I have. I don't really typically like cloth figures. I like the Ultimates, for instance. But, you know, if anybody ever gave me a Freddy Mego, I wouldn't like turn it down, is what I'm saying. League of Comic Geeks, there you go. Dream Warriors is my favorite sequel. Definitely my favorite Freddy sequel for sure. Though I do want to give a special shout out to New Nightmare. Dream Warriors is killer, hell yeah. My son has that Freddy Motu-esque figure. He was Freddy for Halloween one year. Hell yeah, Mike, that's awesome. The only one I'm missing in this line, because I have Pinhead, I have Freddy, I have Mike, and I have Jason. I don't have Leatherface. And I just need to go online and find one and just get it. Because I've been trying to find it like at cons or stores, but I can't find it. Dream Warriors is my favorite, though. Yo, we got Fable in the house. One collection down. Bruh, great show tonight. Talking about Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Thor, Love, and Thunder, and, of course, the news that Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio are coming back. A great show on Blame Fable tonight. The best show on Instagram. And we are the official after party for Blame Fable tonight. So good show, you and Herm and everybody else. Oh, I see Brother Joe in the house. Brother Joe, what is up? Speaking of what is up, join the PCP Army, the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. If you're on Facebook, follow us there. We're also on Instagram, and you can follow me on Twitter at the Rockin Robbie. You can check us out at popculturephilosophers.com for podcasts, blogs, and a whole lot more. And, of course, you can support the channel with Super Chat. Thank you so much to all who do. Or over at patreon.com/PCP, where you can unlock exclusive content like, for instance, the newest episode of the podcast, Mel Brooks. We've already filmed it. We filmed it over a month ago. It is available in a unedited, unrestricted video format. That's on patreon.com/PCP right now to all levels of support at $1 and up as well. And that has not been released to the public yet. As well as each week when I release the weekly comic book review, I release an audio version downloadable that audio version is to all of our Patreon members over at patreon.com/PCP. That usually comes up 2 or 3 hours before it drops here on the video, and YouTube is taking longer to render HD videos, it seems, and longer to check them for copyrighted content. So it is delaying my shit, and it's pissing me off. What's coming up here on the channel? Well, tomorrow night, PCP Movie Night, 8 p.m. Central Time, we're kicking off Action Fest 2022 with a look at all 4 Lethal Weapon movies. Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Central Time, join us for a Ms. Marvel episode and review and discussion with the Bad Batch. We're going to be talking about episode 6, the final episode of what is presumed to be the first season of Ms. Marvel. And Dylan's Horror Show on Saturday night, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. We're talking about the Ninth Configuration. I've never seen it. It's like a William Blatty novel or some shit. Who did The Exorcist? By the way, Exorcist 3, greatest psychological thriller of the 90s. So how's everybody doing? I had to say that because Fable's in the house. Dun, 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 dun. Fable says, I love Dream Warriors, but my fave is Freddy's Dead. Now you're playing with power. The fucking Power Glove scene. Jesus. Have you seen all the Puppet Master toys at Target? No, I have not. We're going to be covering Puppet Master soon on Dylan's Horror Show, actually. Are we okay to post links because I visit a site that always has an accurate list of books coming out? Sure, put it out there, Toby Hooper. Alice Cooper's in Freddy's Dead, if I remember. Was that the one where the song, or was that Dream Master? The whole soundtrack, right? Thanks to the sun, I have a leather face. Nice! Very nice. Someone may have to approve that, but luckily we got a mod in the house. Fable is in the house. Gonna have to make some more mods, man. PCP Bad Batch not here in the beginning anymore. Everybody's gotten so busy. I'm so proud of y'all. Hell yeah. All right. Should have gone to Target. I didn't know. I needed to come here and get my shit set up, man. I had to get my shit set up, Mike. You don't understand, man. I had to set all this up tonight. I work hard on this. Speaking of working hard, here's a graphic I made. I really just plug in new books. This is going to be like the shortest DC sneak peek ever. I only read 2 books, but here we go. It's time for your DC Comics sneak peek. All right, well, now you know the 2 books I read, so here we go. First up, Dark Crisis, Worlds Without a Justice League, Superman. It's a one-shot. It also has an Aquaman story in it in the back. So it's got a main story. It's by Tom King and Chris Burnham. It's Superman. So this is what it is. If you've been reading Dark Crisis, or if you read The Death of the Justice League, you know that Pariah killed the Justice League. But if you've read just Dark Crisis, slight spoilers, we know that they're not really dead. They have been recreated in a world in and of themselves, right? So Earth Flash, and first time we saw that was, I think, like Justice League Incarnate, maybe Infinite Frontier, when Flash got caught, Barry Allen. So they're all in a world that has been created based around them, okay? So this is a peek into Superman's world, basically where he is imprisoned. This is where Superman is. And it deals with him in an alternate reality, an alternate world, where he gets to see Jonathan Kent grow up. And I actually liked the story. Chris Burnham is a cool artist and actually works for this story. And I was worried because I haven't liked a lot of Tom King lately, but I thought it was dope. I thought it was actually a really good, solid story. It is skippable as far as not necessary to your knowledge of Dark Crisis. If you read Dark Crisis, we already know that these characters aren't in fact dead, but are somewhere in their own realities gaining power for Pariah to be weaponized or some shit like that, right? This is a peek into that. And then it's got a backup story where Aquaman's in his own world. They are kind of like all in their dream worlds. If you've ever read Grant Morrison's JLA run, think of the episodes where it's the key, right? And he puts them all in their own like reality where everything goes good. That's kind of what it is. So Aquaman's got his family. Superman gets to see Jonathan grow up. I actually liked both of these stories. I thought they were solid. Not essential to your understanding of Dark Crisis, but a good tie-in. Decent enough and easily placed in the crazy, fantastic stuff that's going on with Dark Crisis. Speaking of Dark Crisis, that's written by Joshua Williamson. So is this book, Rogues. This is Rogues, issue number 3. Fucking awesome. This is a rated R heist film. This is a rated R heist movie told in a comic book form using the Rogues from The Flash, including Gorilla Grodd. So the Rogues are older. Some have tried to go straight. Some are not making it work at all. Captain Cold gets them all back together for one last job. They're going to go into Gorilla City and rob all the gold of Gorilla City. This is the actual heist in issue 3. And of course, like any great heist film or heist story, it doesn't go well. Or it does go well until it doesn't. This book was fucking awesome. Leo Mack's artwork is amazing. His confident line, that stroke is absolutely fantastic. I love the artwork. The storytelling is spot on. The dialogue, the characterization, but just moving it into a more mature kind of version of a Ocean's 11 type thing, but in Gorilla City, firmly placed in the DC universe, but in their own world. Holy shit, this book fucking rocks. And that's all I read from DC. That's all I read from DC this week. So a short week for me from DC, but I liked this. I thought it was pretty solid, but this was fucking the bee's knees, y'all. Rogues. Don't sleep on that book. It's dope. Where's Swamp Thing Green Hell? Rogues is coming out. Rogues is coming out. I feel like they're prioritizing. Why are you not prioritizing Swamp Thing? Maybe they're trying to get this out. Then they'll focus on... I don't know. But I'm glad this is out because it's awesome. That's been your DC sneak peek. So there you go. Let's see here. So Superman got Aquaman in the back. If that's how you want to look at it, Scarpad, that's your business, and I'm not going to judge you, man. I'm not going to kink shame nobody. Mike says, Dream Warriors is my favorite Freddy flick, but I love Jason vs. Freddy. Seeing those two horror icons share the screen is awesome. I agree. Batman Popster 23 is in the house. What's up, Station? I always bring my own wrench. Man, I need to give Two Gun a wrench. Jesus. I hope I see that note later on in life. Dark Crisis seemed too cliche. I skipped it. I don't get what the point of the JLA dying again. It doesn't excite me. If it doesn't excite you, I get it, bruh. No worries on that. Rogues is on pull because Black Label Prestige Plus format. Yeah, they're pretty solid on those books. I'll be honest with you. They're pretty solid on those books. You know, like, if YouTube would make it easy. Like, if I could just... Oh, shit. I can. Fuck. I was literally about to complain and be like, if you could literally just click on someone's name and make them a fucking moderator. And you can. Holy shit. Look, you got a wrench. I dub thee Sir Two Gun Pedro of the PCP Army. There you go. Hell yeah. That's fucking easy as shit, man. Well, goddamn. Now I got all this power. Bobby De La Ghetto. I dub thee Sir Bobby De La Ghetto. You're now got a blue wrench. I was always doing it this ass backwards way where I had to go into YouTube Studio into the community tab and like get a link from the fucking channel associated with the goddamn fucking with y'all's profile. And Jesus, that's easy. God. Yeah, where's Taki? Taki, say something. I want to dub thee. I want to dub thee. Where are you at? I can't go back up in the chat. He probably left. There he is. I dubbed thee Sir Taki 616. Hell yeah. Look, Bobby's someone. So is Two Gun. Worlds within worlds. Remember, Rob, power corrupts. You're right. You're right. You're right, Mike. I need to calm down. Get Cloud Kickers in the house. What is up? Scarpat says, I ended up not going to Thor today. Despite the internet reaction, all the showings were pretty maxed out. Yeah, even at my theater, which is not the busiest theater in town anymore, it was very lively, I think, for 11:50 on a Sunday fucking morning. I was literally like, yo, see, here's the thing, Mike. I don't like it when people act like they deserve a wrench. I like to give them based on like my own benevolence. I don't like it when people fucking beg for wrenches like Brando. But nah, you deserve one. Mike, I dubbed thee Sir Mike06. You've already been Sir. You're already part of the crew. Any member of the crew, excitable we are, that pops up in here, obviously should get a wrench. Now that I know how to fucking do it easy. Jesus. Yes, Kit Cloud Kicker. I actually did watch Thor today. It's actually our next bit. Heard on AR's channel that King Spawn is ending. Is that true? I haven't heard anything about King Spawn ending. I know the man to ask, though. I'll tell you that. Verno's in the house. Verno! I dubbed thee Sir the Cerebros. You're now a mod. I figured out an easy way to give people blue wrenches. You got a blue wrench. I'm like fucking Oprah, like Brother Joe said. Where's Brother Joe? Brother Joe. Sir Brother Joe. That's right. Bad Batch. You're all going to get fucking Bad Batch and Excitable crew members. We all get wrenches. Look, everybody's like fucking saying another comment so they can see if they got the wrench or not. I love it. Everybody gets it. No, not everybody. That'd be ridiculous. Better Call Saul Season 6 Part 2 kicks off tomorrow. Never seen that. Never seen Breaking Bad either, Jonathan. I need to get up on it. I'm just now catching up on The Boys. I'm like 4 or 5 episodes into Season 2. I'll be honest with y'all. I loved Season 1. Season 2 is a little slow. But I hear Season 3 is baller, so I got to get there. Will the Hulk and Thor ever be more than comic relief? At this point, no. Unfortunately, that's just the name of the game. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Don't worry, I am not going to get into spoilers. But if I understand, some people, even a non-spoiler review, they don't want to check out. So we're about to be talking about Thor, Love, and Thunder. If you want to dip out, now's your time. Let's get into it. So I went to the theater today and I watched Thor, Love, and Thunder. I managed to avoid most spoilers leading into it. We went to the first showing, and it was rather a packed house, but me and my buddy Mike, who is now, of course, Sir Mike06 here in the PCP Army, we went and saw this movie, and I gotta admit that I was kind of disappointed. I was really looking forward to this movie. I have not been enjoying Marvel Phase 4 overall, but I did like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I thought that was a pretty fun, solid, entertaining movie. This one has moments of fun, has moments of solidarity, has moments of entertainment. But for the most part, it didn't quite work for me. So we pick up Thor. He's running around with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and he's gotten back in shape, but there is still something holding him back. And what that is that he's not over losing Jane Foster. And the whole movie is kind of about a losing of faith. And my buddy James Donahoe said this on Facebook today, and he really likes this film. But it's about a losing of faith in yourself, in people, and even in gods, right? And I can dig that, and I think it does have some thematic relevance. But this movie is incredibly jokey. And now I know that Taika Waititi is known for that as being his style. Ragnarok was very jokey. When I first watched that, I thought there was a clash of tone there. It ironed out on repeated viewings. And this one, it'll be interesting to see what they do. So the little Guardians bit in the very beginning, it's cool, but it's not really utilized too much, but it's okay because it's just getting Thor to the next step of his life. But it does lead to this movie feeling a bit overstuffed in the first act, in my opinion. When we do finally get to see Jane Foster as Thor, like I said, I'm not going into spoilers, but I will tell you this. The way that they handle the interpretation of Jane Foster's Thor journey from the comics into here is a bit trite, but it is one of the most powerful things in this movie. Jane Foster as Thor is absolutely fantastic. I thought that she was pretty fun. I thought that there was a nice energy there, but there is a story that goes deeper. And if you're familiar with the comics, you know the heavy stuff involved in Jane being Thor. Personally to her, they really nail all of that. And this is a love story, and they even do a good job of building up this failed romance between these two, because the movies so far haven't adequately done that. This movie actually goes back and does that. You got Tessa Thompson back as Valkyrie, and she feels a little bit underutilized. She's badass in certain moments, but for most parts, it's played for jokes, and the jokes, there are so many jokes, and they don't always hit. Russell Crowe's scene as Zeus is memorable. I like it. It felt like it went on a bit too long and just kind of became too much of a parody of itself, but at the same time, I did kind of like that approach. Christian Bale as Gore. I fucking loved Christian Bale as Gore. I thought that he always looked creepy, fucking spooky. I really enjoyed the intensity and the commitment that he has to his role. So I thought visually he looked fine. It didn't bother me that he had a nose. Didn't bother me that they changed certain aspects of him. I really kind of liked his arc and how it wound up. There were certain moments where it felt like the choices made were a little weird. Mostly the scene with him and some of his hostages at one point. You'll know what I'm talking about. However, I really liked Gore in this movie. And then, of course, the final act. Marvel usually does have a third act problem, but I thought that the third act was the strongest bit of this movie. There are a couple of moments that hit very heavy, but they're quite unearned because of all the comedic stuff. So this is a movie that should have more heavy moments, but doesn't quite because it's too much comedy. And even though Chris Hemsworth does a hell of a job of playing the comedic bits and the dramatic bits, it's almost like two different films competing for our attention. Overall, I would give Thor Love and Thunder 3 out of 5 you digs. I thought it was okay. It is slightly disappointing. And without spoiling anything, the end credits don't do much for me. It's cool. I think both of them set up something interesting, but neither of them are what people are expecting right now. And I want to get into this. Most people are expecting to know where we're going. We've been teased Kang. You're building into Thunderbolts. You're doing this. People just want the next big pop. The mid and post credits in here didn't have a pop. People are losing interest. They want to know what the next big Thanos Infinity Gauntlet. They want to know what the next big thing is. I'm not saying that we're impatient and we want Infinity War now, but we want to know that we're on the road to something. Right now, the MCU feels directionless. This is an okay Thor film. It's not as good as Ragnarok. Ragnarok ironed out for me. Ragnarok was a movie that I felt was too funny and goofy to let any of the serious stuff resonate. This movie makes Ragnarok look like Schindler's fucking List as far as emotional impact. Like, this movie doesn't allow any of that to hit. It hits a little bit for me at the end in Act 3. I think Act 3 is the best. I think Act 1 is the worst. It's rushed. It's overstuffed. Act 2 is decent. But Act 3 is really solid for me in this movie. I think all the performances are great, but there's just not something that's meshing right with the tones in this movie. So I'm going 3 out of 5, you digs. If you've watched Thor Love and Thunder, what do you think? What do you rate it? Let us know right now. And also, are you excited with Phase 4? What is your response to Marvel Phase 4 right now? We are several movies in. I think we're 6 movies in and like 5 or 6 shows. What's going on? What do y'all think? Mike says, Season 2 of The Boys does start off slow, but it gets good. Season 3 was one of the best seasons of any show ever. High praise. Thanks, Sinner. Appreciate you being here. Two Gun, that mostly only happens on StreamYard for some reason, I've noticed. I don't use StreamYard here on Rockin Robbie Live. Kid Cloud Kicker says, Gore was absolutely terrible. Okay. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Mike says, Thor 4 was okay. Mid-tier MCU flick. Few too many cringy moments for me. Don't say losing faith is too soon. I don't get it. The costuming is top-notch, though. Man, what happened to Russell Crowe? Same thing that happened to all of us, Scarpad. Who are we to say, right? The goats are great. Mike, you are right. The screaming fucking goats are hilarious. Because it's a little bit obnoxious at first because they overplay it too much, but then it leads to some really great like tension, like busting moments towards the end that I thought were pretty cool. I was entertained. There are some good bits, but there's some dumb shit. Jeremy John said this. He said, there are moments that I laughed, but then immediately go, that's the dumbest shit ever. And Jeremy John said this, and I agree. Thor's arc is regressing. Thor has regressed in these fucking movies. Go back and watch Kenneth Branagh's Thor #1. Still my favorite Thor movie. I know everybody's got a hard on for Ragnarok, and that's fine. I appreciate you. But I love the first Thor. Thor has an arc there, and Thor is acting dumber in this movie than he acts at the beginning of the first Thor movie when he actually is fucking dumb and selfish and all that shit. So I get that he's in a space mentally, but at the same time, the arc is regressing. But we'll see. I honestly think some of the best Thor moments have been in Avengers films. CTA Frank says Thor 4 gets a 2.5. BJ gives it 2.5. Cerebro says 2.5. Story doesn't match the tone. Is the movie dark or light? It's mostly light. But it tries to have some dark moments that don't work because it's too light. It is overly jokey. Tom says that the screaming goats are one of the repeated jokes that lands every time. Yes, but there are a lot of jokes that don't land even the first time. And that is a problem. There's this moment with Valkyrie and fucking Jane when she's showing him like all this stuff she's got, like all of her weapons. She pulls this one thing. What is that, a grenade? And she's like, it's my speaker. And like they play some fucking music. And it's so stupid. It's so stupid. Tom says the costuming was great, but they put that helmet on Thor for one scene just so they could make a toy. Yes. And throw back to a Thor costume from the Jurgens run, right? Kid Cloud Kicker says, I really enjoyed Dark World. I hated Love and Thunder. I give 1 out of 5. It was a kid's film. That is true. It was a kid's film. Go Flow Old Fog says, I'd give Thor 4 a 3.5. The movie felt rushed at times. I also thought the third act was the best part. The emotional climax hit hard for me. Yeah, I really love that. I think they did the ending of that better than they actually did the ending of the Mighty Thor story in the comics. Cardstock Variant says the comedies are MCU's best movies because it's all popcorn and only Gunn and Waititi seem to be aware of that fact. Tom says, Thor's arc in this series has a worse track record than me sticking to my gym routine. I am eating a whole-ass pizza right now. Well, you're a grown-ass man. You can eat a whole-ass pizza. That's the way it goes. What's up, Perry Station? Pop, pop. Crack-a-boom. What is up? Perry, have you seen Thor? Love and Thunder? What do you think? Jonathan says, I do not like the Aztec Namor. I believe it's more of a Mayan influence Namor. It's a different take. I'm reserving judgment until I see it. It's a different take, but we'll see. Yeah, Perry, we see you. Hey, Perry, by the way, Perry Comics in the house. Perry, IW, Sir Perry Comics. You got a blue wrench. Did you know that all you can do is just click on their fucking name and you can make someone a moderator? That's fucking awesome. Perry, you got a blue wrench. Perry says, nope, might watch it in 2035. That's right. You gotta think about reaction videos done 20 years after the fact and how well they perform. Hell yeah. All right, I guess everybody's done talking about Thor. What's it trying to get me to do? Okay, there it goes. What do y'all think about Phase 4? That's what I want to know right now. Is Phase 4 in good hands? Do we have a good direction? What's going on in Phase 4? Trade Paper Dad says, Phase 4 feels very Disney, and that is trying really hard to inject kids into everything. So when is the MCU adaptation of the Immortal Hulk coming out? Probably the next time they do a Hulk movie. Because they got a very limited idea of what they can do, I think. Meaning, they are now really mining from recent stories. 4 Thor films you could fill with just the content from the Kirby and Simonson days. You don't even need to get into Jurgens and fucking... You get what I'm saying? Like, they move very fast in some of these movies, and they kind of go through. Kick Cloud Kicker says, Phase 4 sucks. To me, it's the worst phase so far, is Phase 4. And I know we got the shows, and I like Loki. I love WandaVision. I'm really enjoying Miss Marvel. Last episode, not so much. Hawkeye was very enjoyable. Captain America and Winter Soldier was okay. What If, I hated. But Phase 4, I don't know. Like, I think Phase 3 is their strongest. I mean, and that's not just because of the Avengers movies. There's a lot more going for Phase 3 than just Avengers movies. But what do I know? I like comedy. I was a little surprised by Ultron's humor. He had some good lines, but I don't remember Ultron being funny in the comics. No, that's why my personal least favorite film in the MCU is still very much Age of Ultron. And I know that's not a popular opinion. It keeps prompting me to add ads. I guess live. It just prompted me and it said, now is a good time to add an ad. I was like, what, you want me to click a button and go to an ad? Is that what we're doing here? Like, are you going to interrupt the stream to play an ad? That's weird. Fuck that. I'm not against adding ads, obviously. You know, and some of y'all probably had to watch an ad as you started. I get it. But at the same time, I'm like, why are you prompting me to insert an ad? There's almost a piece of me that wants to try to do it at one point. Well, maybe one day we'll do it. All these moderators, nobody's going to approve this guy. Come on, mods. I'm leaving that to you. Mike's got a comment there. Come on, y'all. I got to do this. I just added like 8 new mods. Thank you. Oh, my God. Perry says, I approved it. Hell yeah, Perry. Your first act is Sir Perry Comics. Thank you so much. Perry, we start Action Fest this week, man. You're signed up for Golden Child, I believe, right? I got the list. Golden Child, maybe Commando? I don't remember. I'm sure you remember. I hope you remember. I'll let you know. Wait, Brother Joe, did someone just delete the message? No, that's fine. How do I reapprove that? What the fuck? Someone just deleted the message now. It said, Mike said, not digging much of Phase 4. When Miss Marvel is the best thing this phase has, you have some issues. I was ultimately disappointed in Moon Knight, which really bummed me the fuck out. I think that somebody was trying to approve it after it had already been approved and removed it. All right, y'all, let's not take these blue wrenches for granted. Did I give out too many? Kid Cloud Kicker says, Hawkeye was the show I had the least interest in. It was my favorite of the Marvel shows. Yeah, Perry had already approved it, apparently, and then it got unapproved. I think someone tried to approve it, but regardless, I can still see it, but I can't actually... The only options it's given me is to hide you or block you, Mike, but I'm not going to do that. Not digging much of Phase 4. When Miss Marvel's the best thing this phase has, you have some issues. I was ultimately disappointed in Moon Knight, which really bummed me the fuck out. And then there's Perry. She's like, there you go, buddy. Trade Paper Dad says, I give Thor a 3 out of 5. The kids ruined the movie for me. Gore's origin story was trash. No emotional connection to his struggles. GoFlow Fog says, I think Phase 4 stepped down from 3. Phase 1 and 2 were pretty inconsistent too, though. Iron Man 2 and Thor are not good. I am hopeful they'll build things back up again. BJ says, did anyone watch The Black Phone? It was awesome. We covered that on Dylan's Horror Show last week. They all pretty much liked it. I did not. I actually did not like that one. Hey, Andy's in the house. Favorite color Jolly Rancher is green. And whenever they do a tangerine one. But green apple. You didn't get blocked. I just responded to you, see? There you go. Yeah, brother Joe. Maybe I maybe we gave you too much power too soon, bro. If you can't handle the responsibility. I'm just kidding. Great rendition of Let It Be tonight, by the way, for the Blame Fable Tonight show. Perry says, I've seen the Buzz Lightyear movie. I liked it. Nothing to do with Toy Story, but it was good. Well, it's supposed to be about like the fictional story of the actual character Buzz Lightyear or some shit, right? I don't know. I don't have kids, so I don't really ever go to watch animated films at the movie. But maybe one day. What's y'all's favorite movie of Phase 4 right now? Or project, because they're TV shows. What's your favorite? For me, WandaVision, and as far as movies go, Doctor Strange. I know a lot of people are not liking that one for some fucking reason. I love Doctor Strange. Would I give it a 4.5? It's probably honestly a 4. But maybe a 4.369 or something like that. Oh, William, we said no spoilers. Come on, Mira. Come on, bro. How should have Thor Love and Thunder should have ended? I think it should have ended the way it ended. I love the ending of Thor Love and Thunder. I just think that there was a little bit more work to get us to that ending that they didn't do. Jonathan's favorite project from Phase 4 is Doctor Strange so far. Bobby says, I dug Doctor Strange, but What If is still my favorite. Bruh, see, that's one I hate What If, but I'm glad you liked it. There are episodes I really liked, though. I loved it a lot at first, and then it just started losing me, man. We got some What If treats, though, for show and tell tonight. Scarpet says, yeah, probably Doctor Strange. Kit Cloud Kicker says, Hawkeye and Spider-Man No Way Home. Yeah, don't forget, No Way Home's part of Phase 4. Two Gun says, agree with you, Robbie. WandaVision and Doctor Strange, too. Yeah. I agree with me, too, Pedro. By the way, good to see Jim and Ed do another Wizard episode today. They dropped one. I haven't watched it yet because I'm going to save that tomorrow. Tomorrow's a big day. Every Monday at the shop, I pull books off the shelf. They have new ones coming out the week. Then I send them to the people to get that all cataloged. And then I got to do Marvel FOC, and then Diamond FOC is there. The other guy who owns the shop does Diamond still. But I do the Marvel FOC, I do all that, then I do the reorder. It's always a big, busy day. So I like listening to Ed and Jim on those days in particular. Andy says, jumps on the grenades. Well, that's in every friend group, you got to have someone. Got to have someone. Mike says, No Way Home and Doctor Strange 2 are the best of Phase 4, and I'm pleasantly surprised with Miss Marvel. BJ says, No Way Home, WandaVision, Moon Knight, Loki, and Doctor Strange. Scarpet says, No Way Home would be second. Hell yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right. It's time to switch back in comics and go back how far back in time? Back to a simpler time that was still filled with complexity. The 90s were a simple time, but done in a complex way. It's time for Image in the 90s. And today we're talking about Wildcats number 3. That's right, Covert Action Teens. We've been going through this over the last couple episodes. We talked about issue 1 and issue 2. Now we're talking about issue 3. When we last saw the Wildcats, they were trying to stop the Cabal's evil plot to bring a portal open to bring the Damonites in to invade Earth, right? And they were stopped by Youngblood. So let's get into it. We kick off with this awesome splash of Maul, not Darth Maul, but just regular ass Maul, and they finally start through some exposition captions explaining Maul's powers, that he gets bigger, and the bigger he gets, the tougher he gets. They don't quite go into the nuance of what's going on with his intellect, but they do kind of allude to it, right? And then we have this big show-off between Youngblood and Wildcats. Now, Wildcats 3 was supposed to be the end of the Wildcats miniseries, and it was supposed to be a big, polybagged, double-sized issue. The book was late. Jim Lee said, you know what, let's just cut it in half and put it the fuck out, because we're being plagued with lateness here at Image Comics. But you get this nice splash. We're about to have some shit go down. And then you get another splash of shit going down. Maul gets bigger, just goes ham, starts taking out the Youngblood dudes, and a fight ensues. So Spartan's lost his arm. We saw that in the last issue. And we got them just going ham right now with Voodoo all confused. They're in the corner. And then Die Hard and Bedrock, still called Bedrock, by the way. I guess they hadn't had to change the name yet. Because if you didn't know, Rob Liefeld had to change the name of this character from Bedrock to Badrock because of Flintstones. Some shit, which sounds ridiculous to me. Bedrock is literally the name. It's a noun. But anyway, some really cool Jim Lee artwork here. The coloring is pretty decent, but you do get a lot of those orangey browns throughout that kind of muddy things up. You got a little bit of Chapel versus Spartan right here. He's already lost one arm, and he's getting just decked again. He's getting bodied by Chapel. A lot of exposition explaining that, Spartan, by the way, is an android. Because you don't know that. Like, the book doesn't do a good job of explaining things, and then they just briefly, like, oh, by the way, yeah, he's cybernetic. Y'all didn't know that? Y'all didn't know that at all? And then, of course, Shaft attacks with a sonic arrow, and he's trying to pull it all together, and we're also learning through the narration who Youngblood is and what their functions are. And right now, they are bodyguards to Dan Quayle. At the time, in 1993 when this book came out, but in 92 when the story is set, he was the vice president of the United States. He is actually, his body has been taken over by a Damonite, okay? And he's trying to cause this doomsday thing, right? And that's why Youngblood's fighting the Wildcats, right? Meanwhile, Pike and this Chakotay sister, they dip out because they know that Grifter and Zealot are not there. So that means that Maul and the rest are just distractions. So then we cut to this scene, y'all. Jim Lee Crimin himself, man. Do you remember that scene in X-Men #1 with Wolverine and Psylocke and Gambit going through the sewers, in that training exercise or whatever the fuck? That's straight up what that is, right? Anyway, they're on their way to try to find Hellspawn and the Cabal and stop them from doing what they're doing. So Hellspawn's there with McCoy. McCoy is a Damonite who's trying to unleash the power of this orb to open a portal to their homeworld of Damon and bring the Damonite invasion in. That's the stakes. That's what's going on. And then Pike and the Coda sisters show up right as Zealot and Warblade and Grifter and Lord Imp, Jacob Marlowe, show up. So they show up, a fight ensues. McCoy's like, screw this. I'm going to go into Daemonite form and just take out these motherfuckers. And then immediately gets taken out by Warblade. This was the moment that I remember reading this book when it first came out and being like, Warblade's fucking badass. Like, obviously, Grifter was my favorite. He's going to become everybody's favorite. So much focus gets put on him and Zealot, and I love those two. But Warblade's awesome, and aside from the orange just mess in the background, this is a really nice spread. Warblade just going ham and lets us know a little bit about a backstory. Maybe that will be developed further. Then we cut to, what's his name? It's Lord Gnome, right? There's this dude. He's actually playing the Cabal against the Wildcats, against Io. He's setting it all up because he wants the orb. He wants to open the portal. Why? I don't know. But this is just to remind us that they're the ones who are actually the bad guys, not the bad guys who are being fought right now by the Wildcats. Anyway, we get more of Maul just tearing ass. He keeps getting bigger and bigger. They realize that the bigger he gets, the more unstable he's going to become. He's going to bring the house down and kill everybody. They got to let Youngblood understand that they're on the same side. So Voodoo, for the first time, consciously uses her powers outside of just being a dancer at a strip club. She uses her powers to shut down Maul's mind. And it ends a little bit of stuff. And therefore, Youngblood's like, y'all, you just saved our lives? Wait, I think there's something more going on. So then Dan Quayle goes crazy. He's like, I'm going to kill this chick right now. And Shaft's like, yo, you can't do that. Dan Quayle goes crazy. Youngblood's like, yo, somebody better explain what's going on. Shaft is about to tear some ass. Then there's this big psychic blast that happens, and they remove the Daemonite entity from Dan Quayle. Dan Quayle's going to be okay. Maybe that's the reason why he couldn't spell potato. Meanwhile, we go back to Hellspawn, the Cabal, the rest of the Cabal, battling the Wildcats, Void, a little bit of Void and Lord Imp action right there. Some pretty cool colors on this page. Could be a little bit more detailed there in the backgrounds. And then Zealot and Grifter doing their thing. So just big action splashes. They're fighting these dudes. Things are getting higher. Stakes are coming up. You get a nice ass shot of Zealot from Jim Lee. Zealot's about to take some people out. She's about to get hardcore. Hellspawn shows up, use his psionic ability to just nullify her brain, knock her out, and now the Cabal has won. However, the portal opens without them doing anything. They're like, what? Turns out it's Lord Gnome, but Hellspawn's like, hell yeah, bring on the invasion. And that is Wildcats issue number 3. Once again, decently solid. I mean, they're not changing lives with Wildcats, but it's got good, solid artwork. The artwork does feel a bit rushed in times. There are nice splashes where it doesn't feel rushed, but towards the end of the issue, you can feel the urgency in the line, right? Scott Williams, of course, doing great work there. Coloring, once again, just too much orange and brownie shit in the background. It's something that gets talked about a lot. With the coloring when it was going on then, and it even happens today. The book doesn't do a good job of clearly telling us the story. It just literally has to give us bits and tidbits and exposition. But it is exciting artwork if you were an X-Men fan in those days. If you liked Jim Lee, this was the book for you. And I still love the Hellspawn design. I still love what Jim Lee was doing here. Brandon Choi was not doing a great job with the script. It's exposition-y. The lettering is pretty bad. I'll be honest with y'all. I do not like the lettering. Like the fonts, especially the Hellspawn font and the Daemonite stuff, like that's all cool. But the placement of the word balloons on most pages doesn't really work, and it actually confuses reading in a few pages in this issue in particular. This is probably my favorite page in the entire issue. I think it's absolutely amazing. This whole gnome thing, whatever. Like, there are parts of the story that are intriguing enough, but this is just made to be kind of big, explosive, bombastic, and to hopefully make a TV show and sell action figures. And they did, but not to the extent of things like, say, Spawn or even the X-Men. But at the same time, I'm enjoying it. So I forget what I gave Wildcats number 1 and 2. I would give this the same. I want to say that I gave them a 3.5, but at this point, I'm being very forgiving. I'm going to say 4 ya digs, because it's progressing the story. It's letting us know a little bit. Nah, I got to be honest. I can't. It's 3.5. This book is a 3.5. Story's kind of weak. It's got some interesting concepts, but it's got some dope art. But the art itself is a bit rushed at times. So here's my copy of Wildcats number 3, of which I will officially give a 3.5. I think that's what I gave 1 and 2. It's all pretty consistent though. But really cool stuff. Love these old ads. Love having the actual issues. This doesn't have any annoying like image zero ads breaking up these double page spreads. They look well. It's actually the colors print well on the printed page. It feels like they were kind of figuring it out a little bit more. But the oranges still kind of bother me. But on the printed page, as opposed to a screen, it doesn't bother me as much. But like, so Spartan is an android. You don't know that. You don't know that. They don't explain nothing. The only time they really explain anything is when you get a really heavy, like verbose caption. But it is exciting, and all this was trying to do was just be exciting and fun. There's my favorite page right there. So we're showing you it again. But yeah, this is absolutely still a fun revisit. I love that Hellspawn design. So overall, 3.5 for Wildcats. I'm loving going through and revisiting these. We'll wrap up the first mini-series with issue number 4. We'll do that next time here on Image in the 90s. All right. Looks like we got Sleepy Reader in the house. Let me go back up and see what's going on here. Hey, JT's in the house. My bad. Sir JT, you got a wrench, buddy. When do we get New Warriors in the 90s? Maybe one day. There's a lot of stuff to go through. William, I haven't watched Strange New Worlds yet, so I don't have an opinion on it. Just finished Kayfabe before coming here as one of their best wizards. Hell yeah. Excited to check it out. Regular ass mall. The 90s were awesome, but a bit blurry for me. Too much drinking and recreational pharmaceuticals. Well, there you go. Oh, there's Eric. Eric! Sir Eric! You got a blue wrench. All the Bad Batch and all the excitable PCP crew get bad batches. I mean, wrenches. What? Blue wrenches. Whatever the fuck. Bad batches, too. I liked Batman 125. 126 is way better, though. That's coming out in a month. Trade Paper Dad says, best of Phase 4 are Spider-Man No Way Home, WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, Moon Knight, and Doctor Strange. Bobby says, still love that Jim Lee artwork. Love to have a page of that hanging on my wall. Pff, I bet. Trade Paper Dad says, my bad, Loki is number 2. Yep, Sleepy Reader 666 is in the house. Fable says, loving this recap. I don't have to read the issue now. You have to read the issue because it's got some good, solid artwork. They're fun. And here's something I've been doing. Before I read this, I reread 1 and 2. And it's just one of those things where it's like, that's actually some good color. That's probably the best color in this issue is right there. That's cool. Could be more going on in the backgrounds, but it doesn't fucking matter. That's some cool color. That's like the Argento palette right there. It's like From Beyond shit. It's no Vampirella. No, it's not. No. 5 backlogs for me, but I drink a lot, says Bobby De La Ghetto. Nostalgia is always a factor, right? Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, blue looks good on all of y'all. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about Someone's Watching Me, kind of the forgotten John Carpenter film. So we'll be talking about that. Top 5 movies of 2008, a little bit of show and tell. Then we'll be wrapping it up here, Rockin Robbie Live.
shame, there's no time. Feel the pain, live the grind. I could change, in my mind. Pick a lane, commit and climb. The only way to win at life. I never miss, that's fact. Taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat. Put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag. Cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel. I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real. But how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel?
Hi everybody. Since Rex is out today, I have to do this commercial and it's making me really upset and see red. But it gave me an idea. We have Immortal Red Sonja #4 and Betty Page, the Alien Agenda #5, and they're the Fiery Red editions. So I thought these can make some great giveaways. So we're gonna have them as giveaways for our Monday show and our Wednesday show, but you gotta tune in to see which will be which on which date. Hope that makes sense. Hope to see you then. Bye.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Pop Culture Philosophers. Welcome back to Rockin Robbie Live. I am your host, Rockin Robbie Bills Station. Pop, pop, boom, motherfuckers, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the third and final act here of Rockin Robbie Live tonight for Sunday, July 10th, 2022. We've already looked back at our favorite comic books from last week. We looked ahead at what was coming up in shops this week, including the DC sneak peek with a mind-staggering 2 comic books reviewed. Both of them solid, but Rogues was dope. Rogues. Don't sleep on that book. We talked about Thor, Love and Thunder. I thought it was okay. Gave it 3 out of 5, you digs. We chatted a little bit about Phase 4, the potential, what's going on. We did an Image in the 90s bit, and I saw that Damien from Sleepy Reader 666, fantastic channel. I eagerly anticipate his comic book countdown, and I cannot imagine the day that I finally can get him on the monthly comic book review, which we did skip in June, because everybody was busy, surprisingly, the weekend of July 4th. However, we're doing a June and July 2-for-1 at the end of July, just like we did last year, because summer's busy. So best comics of the summer, we can basically call it, right? Anyway, that'll be at the end of the month. We got Dennis Camp coming on the channel July 21st to talk about Agent of World. His book that we talked about last year finally came out. I hope y'all loved it. I love that fucking book. I think it's amazing. He's going to be back on to talk about that, but also to talk about his upcoming work with Bloodshot Unleashed and 20th Century Men, which is about to drop in August. Y'all, I'm so excited. FOC is going to be right before, or my bad, right after our show. Y'all, I've read it. You do not want to miss 20th Century Men. I told y'all Agent of World was going to be the shit. I'm telling y'all. I'm telling you. Anyway, in this segment, though, we're going to be talking about a John Carpenter film. We're going to be talking about our favorite movies of 2008, a little bit of show and tell, and who knows what else. Because this show is driven, fueled, if you will, by your questions, your thoughts, your comments, and your concerns. Get them in right now. What do you want to talk about? By the way, join the PCP Army, the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. If you're on Facebook, follow us there. We're also on Instagram, and you can follow me on Twitter at @TheRockinRobbie. Check us out at popculturephilosophers.com for podcasts and maybe a little bit more, but not too much more. Podcasts, merch links, all that stuff. And you can support the channel at patreon.com/PCP. Unlock exclusive benefits like these cool PCP patrons right there. Or you can do so with Super Chat. We really do appreciate it. Had some great Super Chats tonight already. Next Super Chat at any amount will trigger the Hellboy song. I guarantee it. But I do also want to say that all the support we need is you being here, participating, liking, sharing, subscribing, all of that jazz and more. What's coming up here at the channel tomorrow night? PCP Movie Night, 8 p.m. Central Time. Lethal Weapon. All 4 movies reviewed. We're kicking off Action Fest 2022. Miss Marvel has its final episode on Wednesday. We're going to be talking about it Wednesday night. Miss Marvel episode review and discussion with the Bad Batch. Episode 6, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Central Time. Dylan's Horror Show, Saturday, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. The 9th configuration. It's on Shudder. So check it out. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Sir Eric says, the term Carpenter film isn't fair. It's an instant 5 backlogs, 7.69 you digs, and 11 slips, etc. Damn, you're putting a lot of faith in the backlog, Eric. Someone gives you a wrench, you get a big head. I see how it is, man. I see how it is. I just want y'all to know, y'all's backlogs ain't even caught up to the slip yet, okay? So you're getting an inflated sense of y'all's egos. Anyway, I get what you're saying, but we're about to go ahead and get into it. I've never seen this John Carpenter film. Like, I think out of all of these films, this is the only one I hadn't seen, honestly. Yeah. I have seen Elvis, but I was young. But I remember that Elvis movie, but I was young. So that's going to be kind of new. But this was the first time I've ever seen it. So let's go ahead and get into it. So we're going through John Carpenter films as well as the Kung Fu movies. We're alternating episodes. So it's time for a John Carpenter film. We've already talked about Dark Star. We talked about Assault on Precinct 13. So now we're talking about his 3rd film that he made. It was the 4th film released because it came out after Halloween. But it was filmed immediately before Halloween. Tonight, we're talking about Someone's Watching Me. So Someone's Watching Me is a 1978 film which was released in November on NBC. That's right. This is a made-for-TV movie. It stars Lauren Hutton, Adrienne Barbeau, Charles Cyphers, and more. Lauren Hutton is fantastic in the role. So John Carpenter was making a living while he was putting together projects like Dark Star and Assault on Precinct 13. He was making a living as a screenwriter. He was selling screenplays, and one of them was this one. And it had a different title, and I think maybe it was even picked up from another idea, but it was inspired by a real-life story. And what it is about this woman. And this, by the way, got picked up by the studio. They didn't have enough faith in it as a feature, so they put it out as a TV movie. There was a swell of made-for-TV horror movies in the 70s, picking up off the success of things like The Exorcist and The Omen and Jaws. They were trying to get in on it, and John Carpenter was fresh on the scene. He says he learned a lot from this movie. Let's get into it. Lauren Hutton does an amazing job playing a television news director. She's a live news director who is freshly into LA. And she gets this apartment, this great apartment in a high-rise apartment building that on the opposite side of it, facing it, is another apartment building. And this was a real-life setup based on a real kind of story. There is somebody in the other apartment building spying on her with a telescope. And he gets her phone number, and he finds out who she is, and he starts calling her. And at one point is even in her apartment in a very chilling, intense scene at the beginning of this film. So he starts sending her gifts, like another telescope. He starts calling her and harassing her, and we're starting to slowly see what she thinks is a cute joke or a prank turn into something more serious. Adrienne Barbeau plays one of her first friends she makes at the news station. She actually plays a lesbian in this film. They boldly state that she's a lesbian several times. For 1978, that was quite a big deal, and I appreciate the way that they just kind of lay it out there and then move the fuck on, and I really like that. She's got this dude who she goes to a bar. She's always picked up. She's trying to, all these dudes are using pickup lines on her, but she spies this one dude. He's a philosopher. Maybe not a pop culture one, but still a philosopher. Station, my man. Station. But she goes to the bar and picks him up. They have a great kind of dynamic, and it feels, the camaraderie and the relationships between these characters feel very real, but the entire movie is carried by Lauren Hutton. Even though eventually she starts telling them what's going on, they're trying to help her figure out what's going on. She calls the police. They don't want to believe her. Eventually, she is led. They find a dude spying through a telescope in the apartment across from her, and they arrest him. And guess who it is? It's fucking Uncle Leo from Seinfeld. And he looked rather angry. No, but Uncle Leo shows up, and they think that he's the dude stalking her, and then they arrest him, and they think it's all over, even though, just look at those eyebrows, maybe it's not all over. And in fact, it's not. And she still is getting these harassing phone calls. She still is getting all this weird shit sent to her. And the police don't believe her. By the way, yes, that's the corrections officer from Assault on Precinct 13 and the sheriff from Halloween. So she is on it on her own. At one point, her boyfriend just kind of leaves, and he's like in San Francisco, I guess, doing something. And Adrienne Barbeau, we'll get to that in a moment, but she's kind of just on her own. She has some rather intense scenes where she almost confronts the person who's doing all the harassment and all that kind of stuff. But in a very intense scene, there's a moment where she finds the real apartment across the way of the dude who's spying on her. And as she's there looking in his telescope at her apartment, Adrienne Barbeau's character is there, and the dude comes and attacks her and kills her. And then Lauren Hutton's character, who I think is named Lee, just loses it, right? But she eventually finds that there is a device there that dude has left, and that device has been listening to all of her conversations and recording them. Eventually, she has a final confrontation in her apartment. He's there. He's going to set it up like a suicide. He wants to kill her, but he's going to throw her out the window. And literally, they go to this apartment building, and Lauren Hutton is hanging out of the fucking window. Like, that's real. That's not matted. That's not any kind of special effect. That's some real shit. But she eventually fights enough, grabs a shard of the broken glass, stabs him, and then he falls over the edge and dies. And it just kind of ends freeze frame on her because, you know, that's what you do in the 1970s. I think the movie's pretty solid. It does go a little bit long. There's my copy of it. It's available on Scream Factory Blu-ray. Otherwise, I would never even have seen this movie or heard about it. I watched this little bit in there. John Carpenter was saying that he had only made those 2 films that didn't make any money. And so he took this gig, and he said he learned a lot. He said he learned a lot. They filmed it in like 10 or 14 days, and immediately after they were done with this, he films Halloween. And he says that a lot of what he learned technically in this movie influenced Halloween. And you notice that when you watch it. The way the camera moves, the way it kind of is paced out with the editing, with the cutting. There are moments. The music is not done by Carpenter. The music is done by somebody else. And there are moments where it really, really works. And it feels like a good like 50s Universal kind of, or 40s or 50s Universal kind of horror sci-fi film. But other times it just gets a bit overblown. I would like to see what it would have been like with Carpenter. Carpenter did not have final cut at this time, obviously, with this film. So he didn't have a say in it. It was 1 hour and 37 minutes. It was exactly the length it needed to be because of the commercial breaks. So it does play into commercial breaks. So it will do the fade out and fade in. The Blu-ray actually has a widescreen version or the full frame. Full frame is what I watched because that's what it was shot and intended to be released as. It debuted in November of 1978. It did pretty well. It was advertised as part of a special for another show, but it wasn't connected to that whatsoever. It was just a made-for-TV movie. But it helped John Carpenter learn a lot of technical skill that was going to be very beneficial in Halloween. So it does have some pacing issues. I think if John Carpenter had final cut, he would have cut like 10 to 12 minutes out of this film. That would have made it tighter, made it pop a little bit more. As it is, it does run a little bit long. But if you would have watched it on television in 1978 with the commercials, it would have been a really good thriller horror film on TV that actually has some very creepy, tense moments and is pretty solid. I'm going to give it 3.5 you digs out of 5. If you've ever seen Someone's Watching Me, let me know what you think right now. Yeah, those eyebrows are scary. Do you remember that Uncle Leo episode where they paint the fucking eyebrows on and everybody's like, he's so angry? But yeah, it's the guy that played Uncle Leo. That cracked me up. Scarpet says the ABC movie of the week was huge for horror. Yes. People forget those days. I remember those days. It's reasons why I have such a love for films like Sound of Music, The 10 Commandments, and Wizard of Oz. They were played annually at certain times of the year, and I just adored that fucking shit. It was the only time you're going to get to see them, man. That's why even on Christmas, I love watching shit like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Santa Claus is Coming to Town and shit like that. Because that's, you know, it just takes me back to those days. And nostalgia is a factor. Damien, if you're still here, I mean, you got your own nostalgia, I'm sure. We all do. Mine particularly lies in the 80s and the early 90s. That's when I was like, late 80s, early 90s, like 85 to 95. That's like 5 to 15-year-old Robbie. Holy shit. Like the memories involved in those. But hell yeah. Hey, Rogue is in the house. What is up, Rogue Collecting Station? In Praise of Shadows did a really good video on this movie about 4 months ago. You should check it out. Bruh, I actually typed in some shit on YouTube because I usually like to watch these dudes on YouTube talk about it. I found the one dude. I can never... Sinister movie reviews. He's okay. But like, I love In Praise of Shadows. I didn't see their video. I should definitely check that out. BJ says 3.5 you digs. Bobby says I give Adrienne Barbeau 4 backlogs. Yeah, I'd give her more than that, man. One collection down, that's Fable, says, yeah, I'm here with you. 10 Commandments and Wizard of Oz were big in my house. Hell yeah. Gargoyles, the Night Stalker, the little girl that lives down the lane. It isn't shocking. Isn't it shocking and more great flicks? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. It's a good movie, though. I'm glad I watched it. It's kind of the forgotten Carpenter film, but I'm glad. So next week is the next Hong Kong movie, and I do not remember what it is. Let me just go to my messages, and I'm sure I can find out what it is. But the next John Carpenter film, which we'll do on not the next show, but the show after, will be Halloween. So it's like a little preamble to Horror Fest. Now, obviously, we already covered Halloween, all of them here on PCP Movie Night for Horror Fest, but I don't care. I'm going to rewatch Halloween, and this is a good excuse to do it. But the next movie... Oh, what? My last message from Bob says, just for reference, your next movie after this one is Tai Chi Master with Jet Li. So that means I don't know what the fuck my next movie is for Hong Kong. I'll find out. Anyway. Hong Kong Phooey. I know he's busy right now because he's moving in the house. I'll just send him a message. All right, time to go back. How far? Not too back. Not too far back. It's 2008. Time to talk about our top 5 movies of 2008. And we start with honorable mentions. My honorable mentions for 2008 are going to be Let the Right One In. I think that's a really good movie. And I'm talking about the original Swedish film, I believe. Cloverfield, which I really love. Honestly, I think that's a really good kaiju film, and the way it was shot. It's not to everybody's taste, but it's to mine. The Incredible Hulk. This is the start of the MCU. This is the year the MCU started. I think The Incredible Hulk's a pretty solid movie. So is Speed Racer. Now, I tried to watch Speed Racer on shrooms one time, and it was a good experience, but I didn't make it all the way through. But I love the visuals in Speed Racer. I think that movie's awesome. I almost said Robo. Rambo. This is the 4th Rambo film. I fucking love this movie. We did a Rambo on Action Fest a couple years ago. Definitely check out the whole review. And WALL-E. WALL-E's actually really good. I was talking shit about animated Pixar films earlier. I don't go see those in theater. Man, I went and saw WALL-E in theater, and I'm glad I did. At number 5, I've got Burn After Reading. I'm a mark for the Coen brothers. I really like this movie. It's fucking silly. It's able to handle silly and serious at the same time. That's how you do it, Thor, Love and Thunder. But I really like this movie. It's not the best Coen brothers film, but it's one of the best films of the year for me. At number 4, I got Iron Man. This was the start of the MCU. This is still a very solid film. It's got a little bit of struggle in the third act, but it set the bar. And this was back in the days when they actually had to try to make these movies good to make us care. Now that we all care, it seems like they're taking less care in their trying. But Iron Man still holds up. At number 3, Repo, the Genetic Opera. Come on, Darren Lynn Bousman. This is a rock opera horror film, dark sci-fi, where if you're not familiar, in the future, organ failure is very commonplace because of all the shit pumped into the air by the industrial shit going on in the future. And you now have to basically lease you have to lease or finance your organs and bones and shit, right? And if you miss a payment, they send the repo man to take those organs back. This movie is ridiculous. I love it. We're covering it on PCP Movie Night in 2023. Guaranteed. That's going to be my pick for Cruise Choice. At number 2, The Dark Knight. This movie is awesome. I don't think it's the best Batman film. I don't think it's Christopher Nolan's best film. I don't think it's Christopher Nolan's best Batman film. But it's so fucking damn good. Heath Ledger's the Joker. A little bit of Two-Face action in here. Absolutely love The Dark Knight. Everybody, we've talked about it to death. Y'all know this movie. And at number 1, I'm going Slumdog Millionaire, y'all. I'm not trying to be too much of a mark for the Academy Awards because I really am not, but I agreed with the Academy Awards this instance. To me, this was the best picture. I fucking loved this movie. The performances by everybody. Is that Dev Patel? The performances are absolutely fucking amazing in this movie. It's a Danny Boyle film. It's got style. It's colorful. It's dated because it's using the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire kind of thing, but it's based on a novel, right? But the performances, it is one of the most true, genuine love stories I have ever seen on film. So that's still one of my favorite films and my favorite movie of 2008. So to recap, honorable mentions, Let the Right One In, Cloverfield, The Incredible Hulk, Speed Racer, Rambo, WALL-E. And number 5, Burn After Reading. Number 4, Iron Man. Number 3, Repo, The Genetic Opera. Number 2, The Dark Knight. And at number 1, Slumdog Millionaire. What are your top 5 movies, 2008? So let's see what everybody was saying. Scarpat says Speed Racer was a seriously underrated flick. I agree with you wholeheartedly, my friend. Holy shit, do I agree with you, Scarpad. That movie's freaking good, man. It's the Wachowskis. It's got a visual style unlike anything else at the time. Holy shit. Road Collecting says, WALL-E is so dang good. It is. Chalco's 26 says, Vantage Point. Scarpet says, anything with Christina Ricci. Yes. Scarpet says, I want to be Sam Jackson of Black Snake Moan. Okay. Road Collecting says, lots of good movies this year. Josh says, Robbie, is that your final answer? Yes, it is. Bobby says, I'm going to go with Iron Man for my number 1. All right, y'all, list those movies. I want to see them. William says, 2008 films, Cloverfield, Iron Man, WALL-E, Tropic Thunder, and The Dark Knight. Good top 5, my man. Some good movies in 2008. Fake friends write the wrong answer on the mirror for me. Eric says, 2008 had some bangers. Hard for me not to put Dark Knight at number 1. JT says, you already know I'm going with Dark Knight. There you go. I knew there'd be a lot of Dark Knight love. I was looking at this list and I didn't feel like I did not want to put Iron Man at number 4, but man, I love Repo the Genetic Opera. So fucking much. It's not as good. I honestly will tell you, I think technically Iron Man's a better film. But Repo the Genetic Opera just moves me. Moves me. Perry says Kung Fu Panda. All right. I remember watching that one thinking it was okay. I haven't watched an animated film in a long time. Not that I'm against them. It's just horror. I keep myself busy. Pretty much the only movies I watch, if I want to make sure I watch a movie, I got to do a bit about it. Either a whole show or a bit. Fable says, same as Williams, but replace Tropic Thunder with Wanted. I like Wanted. I do. I do like Wanted, and I do like Tropic Thunder. I think Tropic Thunder is a little bloated, personally. I'm not saying that as a negative. I think it's a solid movie. I think it's definitely one of the best movies of the year. But it just rides a little too long. One good thing about Thor Love and Thunder is it didn't feel too long. It wasn't 2.5 hours. It was 2 hours. That was a good length for Thor Love and Thunder. But they stuffed a little too much story at the beginning of the movie. Yeah. We'll just go with that for now. We'll just go with that for now. We'll just go with that for now. Yep, Rogue Collecting is right. Superbad came out that year too. 2008 is a year in my life I remember very vividly. I had a lot of tragedy and a lot of victory in that year. It was a weird year. It was a year I lost my one of my best friends. I lost my mother, but I gained one of the loves of my life that led to a very long, fulfilling relationship. So, 2008 was a interesting year. So I remember it very much, and I remember those movies very, very much. Darren Lynn Bozeman worked his ass off for Repo too. Went on tour in a van to promote the screenings, old school shit. Yeah. And he wanted to make that movie so fucking bad. So it was it's a stage show that he was obsessed with, and he wanted to make into a movie, and I'm glad he did. Bill Moseley's in it. Paul Sorvino. Jesus. The music is fucking awesome. Paris Hilton's in it. Anthony Michael Head. Is it Anthony Stewart Head? Anthony Stewart, and not Anthony Michael Head. That's Anthony Michael Hall's what I was thinking. Anthony Stewart Head, who was Giles from Buffy, plays the Repo Man. Fucking fantastic shit. No one noticed. William says, noticed no one mentioned Punisher, Warzone, or Twilight. You're right. Trade Paper Dad says Dark Knight #1, then Step Brothers, Tropic Thunder, Pineapple Express, and Iron Man. Oh, was Superbad 2007? Well, in that same era. So I think Step Brothers is okay. Step Brothers is one of those things like Anchorman and 40-Year-Old Virgin. I watched those way later, like after the fact. And when you hear a movie's like one of the funniest movies of the year, and you watch it a few years later, it never seems to live up to it, you know. Now, no love for Starship Troopers 3. Unfortunately, Road Collecting, I've never seen it. I never saw beyond the first one. I'm not the biggest fan of the first one. I think it's okay. I get why people like it. I get its cultish kind of ideas. Like, I love plenty of films that are in that vein or even worse. But it just didn't quite back for me. Eric says, Step Brothers came out in 2008. Move over, Dark Knight. There's a new #1. All right, time for show and tell. But for me to go ahead and reach over there and grab it, it's time for station identification. All right, for show and tell, first of all, I got some Blu-rays. I upgraded my Deep Red. I had the Blue Underground Blu-ray, but I got the new Arrow edition. It's not new, but new to me. But it's got a lot more special features and a new restoration from a 4K scan. So excited to have that. Maybe we'll be talking about that. It's an Argento film, Dario Argento, one of my favorite Dario Argento films. I got Ghostbusters 2. Because I realized, you know what? I don't have Ghostbusters 2. It's been on my Amazon wish list for like over 10 years probably. I'm just trying to bite the fucking bullet and get it. Just buy it. It was like $8, $7, something like that. Just fucking get it. Get it over with. Because I was kind of holding out for an ultimate box set of all the Ghostbuster films. But after the last two, I don't really like Afterlife, and I did not like the 2016 one. I just need 1 and 2, and I'm good. And as soon as I bought this, I had that Bobby Brown song stuck in my head all day. Speaking of having songs stuck in your head, I had fucking Guns N' Roses stuck in my head all goddamn day because of Love and Thunder. And I picked up Go. I just got this actually for a steal. This is a rare Blu-ray now, and it's worth some money. It's not hundreds of dollars, but it's worth like $50, $60, and I got it pretty cheaply. I was excited because I'm on a show soon where we're going to be talking about this movie, and I fucking love this goddamn movie. I love this movie so much. I have a story about this movie that I'm going to hold to share until we see that, and it relates to The Matrix. But I have a story about this movie, and I'm ready. But I think next week I'm on a show. I don't want to undercut anybody's announcement, so I'm just going to say that it rhymes with Lame Babel, Crew Night, but I think we're going to be talking about this one, and I'm very excited, so I have it. So there you go. Got some comics, because comics are cool. Recent pickups for me. I got The One, issue #4. This is from Rick Veitch and Marvel Epic. I also got issue #5. And I got issue #6. So you know what that means? I have the full run now. That's awesome. Marvel in the 80s shall ensue. I also picked up Ronin, book 3. These are things I did not get at HeroesCon. And then Ronin, book 4. So now all I need is book 5 and 6, and I have every original issue of Ronin. It's very important to me to get a 5 and 6. I'm having trouble finding those ones. If anybody can help, let me know. I'm having trouble. I'll save that. I picked these out. Now, these aren't new. I've had these, but I'm a big fan of What If, and I decided it'd be a fun treat to show you the first 10 issues of What If, Volume 2. So there is What If the Avengers Lost the Evolutionary War? That's #1. That's my original copy from back in the fucking day, y'all. Then we got #2, What If Daredevil had killed the Kingpin? I loved these books. I obviously read What If Volume 2 way before Volume 1, but these I loved because you could just buy any issue off the newsstand and you could dig it. What If Captain America had refused to give up being Captain America? What if Steve Rogers had refused to give up being Captain America? That's issue 3. Issue 4 is what if the Vision had destroyed the Avengers? Issue 6 is what if the X-Men lost Inferno? So a few weeks ago, I showed off my what if number 7. It's the Rob Liefeld, Jim Valentino. What if Wolverine was an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.? And I just bought a newsstand cover, and I was excited. I already had the fucking book. I had the direct market edition. There you go. Issue number 8, I remember this one vividly from when I was a kid. What if Iron Man lost the Armor Wars? Number 9 is what if the X-Men died on their first mission? And another one I vividly remember, what if the Punisher's family had been killed? That's issue number 10. So let's just run through those covers again. Some great, solid books. They weren't the best things in the world, but they were great for like a 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old kid. We're definitely unpacking that one on a Marvel in the 90s soon. But these are always fun. I don't have a full collection, but it is something I want to work on. I do have the first 10 complete. And I do need to get my list together and figure out. But yeah, that's my original copy, y'all. I remember seeing that and just fucking loving it. Because I read that Evolutionary War. It was like an annual crossover. I still have all that shit. And finally, for show and tell. I picked this up right before Heroes Con. But I finally got a copy of Superman versus Muhammad Ali. It is beat to hell and back, but that meant it was affordable for me. This is Neil Adams' goodness. And I'm excited. I have never read this book. And you know, we got a DC in the 70s coming. Because I am ready to unpack this fucking book, y'all. Look at that. It's beat up, so I can do whatever I want with it. But yes, I got my own copy, finally, of Superman versus Muhammad Ali by Neil the fucking GOAT Adams. Hell yes. The end of show and tell brings us to Final 5. For the Final 5, continuing to go through the Blu-ray collection, there is The Stranger. That is an Orson Welles film. Love Orson Welles. This also has Edward G. Robinson, who I remember, he was in Double Indemnity, right? I love that film. Then we got a Sean Cunningham film, A Stranger is Watching. I picked this up. It released from Scream Factory last year, but I still have yet to watch it. But it's a Sean Cunningham film. I think it predates Friday the 13th, or maybe it's right after. It's after Friday the 13th. I'm sorry, it's 1982. It's definitely something to look forward to. Street Fighter. Y'all, I love this fucking movie. Raul Julia, I live and breathe for Raul Julia in this movie. We covered it on PCP Movie Night before we started in the live format. Definitely check that out. Then we got The Stuff. We've covered this on Dylan's Horror Show, Larry Cohen film. I love this fucking movie. Many of y'all have seen and commented on my Stuff t-shirt. And to wrap up the Final 5, there's my Superman Blu-ray collection. That is 1, 2, 3, and 4, and Superman Returns. It's got some cool bonus features in there. Kind of like I think there's like a Bryan Singer produced like documentary about Superman that's in there too. Anyway, this is a dope set. All those Superman films. There you go. That has been our Final 5. All right, and that's going to be the show for tonight. So everybody, thank you so much for joining us. We really, really do appreciate it. Join us tomorrow night for PCP Movie Night. We kick off Action Fest 2022. We're going to be talking about all 4 Lethal Weapon films. Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Central Time, we're going to be talking about the final episode of Ms. Marvel. And then Dylan's Horror Show, Saturday night, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. We're talking about the 9th configuration. Really do appreciate it. I hope everybody smashes and crushes not only the like button, but this week in your personal life. Thank you so much. It's been a great show. Next week, we're going to have a blazing Rockin Robbie Live as well. And y'all have been the best. Y'all are always the best. I love doing Rockin Robbie Live because I like making the bits and I like sharing all my thoughts and all that shit. But mostly, I just love hanging out with you. So thank you so much. Y'all the best. Station. Pop, pop. Boom!
Cruising in my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, ha, not fucking likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running shit right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into gains, I'm the boss, I'm making change. I've been rocking this exchange, popping off and risking things, gonna make a fucking name. I just wanna be famous, but I don't want that cheap fame. No, I'm not that vain, I just wanna be greatness. 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 Ain't no motherfucker in this world can do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you're going hate this, you can fucking bite me. Okay, I'm going off every chance I get. I don't really take a loss, well, I'll admit. That's why I'll make it to the top, yeah, I commit. And no, I'm never getting lost, I get after it. Investing in my own stock, cause it's faster than any crypto hits go, let me spend. Everything that you see is something I invent, and it's only a percent. I'm gonna take shots, if I miss all, forget it. I'll take a fat loss just to learn all that's in it. I'm taking snapshots, learning how to fall and get it. I'm getting back up, always stand tall, don't sweat it. I never back up, I don't miss a thing or regret it. I'm always learning, you could call me academic. I'm always working, never been apathetic. Bad energy is like a poison, needs some antiseptic. Ain't no motherfucker in this world can do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you're going hate, bitch, you can fucking fight me. Ain't no motherfucker in this world can do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you're going hate this, you can fucking bite me. Ain't no motherfucker in this world can do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself.
Now out past the cast of boredom, cards get dealt, I sift and sort 'em. Table rooftops coming down, wooden nickels lost and found. Apple pie, I'm eating cake now, coming to the table late now. Juke joint fights with diamond lights, immune to poison, ivy, snake bites, batteries from start to chuck at the outer limits, voodoo luck. Stand by on a highball holiday, served fresh from a plastic tray. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the after show here on Rockin Robbie Live. We're going to open up this. So, Masters of the Universe Origins, I don't collect the line. But what I do is I buy figures that were never produced in the original line. They do produce in this line. And figures that are more pricey, like the Sorceress, which I don't have a Sorceress. So I want a complete Motu figure collection of the old school vintage stuff. But this is a placeholder until I get a Sorceress. You get what I'm saying? That's how I got my Clamp Champ. That's how I got my Scareglow. That's how I got my Ninjor. Eventually, hopefully, is how I'm going to get the Randor. They just did a $1, sold out immediately, already selling for $70. God damn it. I want it so bad. I want a $1. Anyway, we're going to open up the Sorceress. See how she looks. Now, obviously going to have more detail. We'll pick that up later. So I appreciate that they do these mini comics. That's cool. I hope they collect them. Then I'd care. There's Jitsu. So anyway, let's take a look at her. Obviously, she's going to be more detailed than the original Sorceress. And I still will want, and am looking for an original Sorceress, and one day I'll get her. But until then, I have one in case I ever need to play. So the original Sorceress would not have as many bendable parts, but for the most part, it's an accurate reinterpretation. I do like those wings. It's pretty dope. Pretty dope. And she's got her little staff here. Looks like a lollipop roll, you know. Fuck out of there. There we go. All right. Sorceress. All right, pretty dope. Ah, shit. Doesn't really want to stay in her hand. It looks like it would stay in this one better. There you go. Sorceress has come to Snake Mountain to rid it of the plague of Freddy Krueger, or she partakes in the big party. Now, I opened this one up a few weeks ago, and that's the Sorceress as from the original mini comics, which is basically Tila, as we came to know her. So, it's a cool addition to that. So, for instance, that was one that wasn't produced in the original line, but it was in the original comic. Anyway, pretty dope, wasn't it? Yeah, I think so. I think so a lot.
Hi, everybody. Since Rex is out today, I have to do this commercial, and it's making me really upset and see red. But it gave me an idea. We have Immortal Red Sonja number 4 and Betty Page, the Alien Agenda number 5, and they're the fiery red editions. So I thought these can make some great giveaways. So we're going to have them as giveaways for our Monday show and our Wednesday show, but you got to tune in to see which will be which on which date. Hope that makes sense. Hope to see you then. Bye.
How's it supposed to feel? Yeah.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss that, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean, and I bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel. I took the red pill. I know life's short, so I wanna live real. But
how's it supposed to feel? Yo, how's it supposed to feel, PCP Army? Getting live tonight. Let's do it right. Yo, pop, pop, boom, in the room. Everybody knows when I come to Zoom. Zooming through your living room. Everybody knows my noom and noom. That's right. They want to say my name, but they holding back. They want to say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games. I just do this fact. I don't feel no shame. It's a mood you lack. I go crazy. Nah, bitch, I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, rider fuels got me hazy. About to unpack these dreams I chase. I got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath. I'd rather lead than be led. I feel the seeds as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel, PCP Army? Being in pop culture and comic books, movies and shit. How's it feel to be part of this community? Feels pretty fucking good. Pop, pop, boom, pop, pop, boom, pop, pop, boom, pop, pop, boom, pop, pop, boom. We got Nick Comic Culture in the house. He is the second best comic book reviewer on OnlyFans. That's right. One of the ladies on OnlyFans had some controversy. She had to dip out. Nick is now the second best comic book reviewer on OnlyFans. Climbing the charts. What is up, everybody? How's it supposed to feel here in the PCP Army? I don't know. We're doing a taste test. Mike, the voice Matthews, got to give a big shout out once again. Pringles has done a thing with Hot Ones to do a series of flavors based on their hot sauces. This is the Los Calientes Verde. Now, I like Pringles. I love Hot Ones. I love hot sauce. The Los Calientes Verde was like one of my least favorite sauces. It was okay, but it was a little sweet. So we'll see how these go. They don't smell sweet. So let's just see. Calm down, Eric. It ain't one of those chips. It's got kick. It is going to have kick to most people. I did not like this hot sauce. But I love the hell out of that chip. That's good. It's the spiciest Pringle I've ever had. I think they have a hotter one. I got to find that. This is delicious. This is really good. It's better than the hot sauce. Hot sauce was too sweet. I had a sweet tanginess that I didn't really like. It worked on like certain like Californian taco kind of dishes, right? But it just, overall, it wasn't something I could depend on. That chip was really good. It's got a little bit of heat. It's got a little bit of heat, but it's good. It ain't like the one chip. It's just Rojos. Oh, I get you. It's good, though. It's good. Good chip. I'd give it 4.5. You digs. Pretty good Pringle. One of the best Pringles I've had in a while. All right, we're out. Y'all, have a good one. We love you. Remember, wherever you go, there you are. Thanks for reading.